now because we're going live and we're just going to figure out if the cameras are in the right spot now, and it seems like they're seemingly okay. Hello, Internet. If PinTech is a pizza party for you, where is my slice? That is my question I have for you. Because I am a pizza enjoyer. Ugh. All right. We're going to do this today. We're going to finish this piece of junk. And oh, look, my head's cut off. Perfect. Look at that. No, this is fine. This is fine. You know, what's the, it was like, what was that? It was Powerpuff Girls? Where like all the like adults except for the professor had like no heads, right? That's what I want my stream to be like. So, grab a slice. Yes, I'll take pizza at Extreme. I like to go to that San Jose burrito chain, Iguanas, and then get that like 3-foot long burrito that's like the size of my arm. Those are great. Hello, Internet. Let me take a seat here, and we're going to briefly go over what we're doing today because this is a sprint and a marathon. We're going for all of the above because there I am. I want to get this damn game out of here. I'd also like to play it, and I'd like to get paid. We're going to get it done. And we're so dang close. Almost the entire top of the game is done. Now it's just stuff to do on the bottom, kind of. Oh man, I really wanted to cut my fingernails before we started the stream. All right, hold on. We're going to start cutting fingernails now. No, just kidding. That's probably someone's fetish, so we're not going to do that. We might get kicked off of Twitch for that. Unless I do it in like a bathtub.
Oh, God.
It is so ridiculous that that is a category. It's kind of hilarious. Anyways, we're not a thirst trap stream. We are an educational stream, and I'm going to try to keep it slightly educational and professional. So, actually, no, educational, yes, professional, absolutely not. I don't think I'm very professional, at least not in this setting. So how's it going, everybody? Hold on. I have to allow that comment because I think shouldn't be banned Draugr for saying that. It auto-moderated your thing because you said the word fetish. That is probably true. A beer, I'll take a beer. Yes, the Burrito-Zilla. That is, the Burrito-Zilla is a thing. That is the 3-foot-long gigantic burrito from Iguanas Taqueria in San Jose. It's pretty cool. Yeah, so let's do this. Where did we leave off last week? What did we do? Oh, I fixed the drop target thing.
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you for completing my sentence. So this week, we definitely have to do flippers. We're going to rebuild flippers. I did see that the pop bumper, right side pop bumper bracket had a destroyed coil stop, so we're going to replace that bracket, which I found in my parts box, thankfully, right here. Ta-da! Rebuild the flippers. We need to lube pivot points. And then I guess we can kind of play and make sure everything works. Then we will need to double check lights. And then it's just a bit of play testing and making sure everything is in the right spot. That is why we started streaming early today, because I'd like to try to get most of that stuff finished. This game might occupy one more episode next week where we do finishing touches, and then I'm hoping I can deliver this game to the customer. I can have him drive up from Charleston the weekend before Independence Day. That's when I'd like to do it. Get it done with. Goodbye, Elvira. Thank you. Goodbye. Okay, so let's get to work instead of yapping. So some things we need to do. I think I'm going to start with the flippers because that I don't want, they're gross, and I might as well do like most of the really dirty stuff first. Then we'll move down. I need to replace the flipper buttons, so I want to do that a little bit later. But let's start the adventure. We're going for it. So to replace the flippers, we're going to need 5/32 inch Allen stuff. We're going to need a 3/8 inch open end wrench. And that's probably it. So I've got new stuff to replace some of the flipper bits. Yeah. Let me put this camera up here. We'll probably utilize this camera just since it can get so much closer. Like that. Wow, here, let's reverse those. We will have Emoto today, eventually. She will join us. For some excitement and some emotoing. She's working on her arcade right now. She's in pure, holy crap, I'm opening an arcade mode, I guess, so that's kind of fun for her. We've done this a million times. I'm still going to give detail, but if you guys have specific questions, let me know and I will try to go into detail. But we're going to replace everything just because they are extremely worn out. Well, in everything trademark, you'll see, and I'll give you reasons why I'm not replacing actually everything, but why I'm replacing the things I am. Okay. I have two handheld Allen keys. I have an L handle set too, but I have a T handle. T handle allows you to have extra torque when these things are stuck. I have this guy when you don't need massive amounts of torque. I prefer to use this most of the time, but you do have to use the T handle to break the torqued down cap head screws. I like these screws a lot. I use them on everything. I use them on the modern stern flipper assemblies too. And funnily enough, some of the more recent build stern games actually are using a 1032 cap head screw, just like Williams did, which is pretty cool. The stern games before that were using a 1032 like hex washer head screw. And for some reason, just those screws themselves were, oh God, those screws were very snap prone. Kind of like seemingly at random. It wasn't like, sometimes they would break a little quick, sometimes they would take a while to break, but they would. Yuck. Holy crap, that's a lot of dust.
Mr. Decker and Kyle, what are those little dials there near the flippers, please?
The dials.
I'm assuming the bushings?
You might be talking about the flipper bushing. That is the bushing that the flipper bat runs through. Oh, it's my favorite loser, Bat Out of Hell by Meatloaf. What is up, my friend? How are you? I miss you. I miss you. I'm glad you're here. Good man. That guy has a super cool arcade, Pop's Pinball Parlor in Boston, Massachusetts. I think it's the Parlor. Did I say it wrong? Or is it just Pop's Pinball? He has some really cool merch, and I'm going to buy it tonight. Check them out on the social medias. I'm just using this towel to wipe off a lot of this flipper dust. It's like, I don't like leaving things dirty, even though this really does nothing. It's just gonna get dirty again. Just cleaning up after myself is nice. Yuck. Okay. Just Pops, not the Parlor, I'm sorry. Just Pops, just Pops. Parlor is a little lame. You don't wanna have a parlor of something, right? God, why would I think about that? Just got done having lunch with your ex-girlfriend. Good man. Let's take a look here at the flipper bushings. I don't think I need to replace these bushings, but let's find out if I do. I like to take a screwdriver and then torque the bushing. When I say torque, I am pushing the screwdriver every single way around. Oh. Our legal name is Pop's Pinball Parlor. So I wasn't wrong. Okay, well, man, parlor is a great thing to describe an activity space. Parlor is classy, and it reminds me of classic New England spaces. It looks like a super cool arcade. Yeah, you guys should look it up. They've got a fun Instagram, but it's old stuff. Lots of old stuff. Lots of new stuff. It's fun. That's my favorite kind of arcade. I'm taking the screwdriver here and I'm torquing up and down, and what I'm doing is I'm looking around the base here for separation. I'm looking to see if the bushing is cracked and if it is pulling away from the flange section here that screws to the flipper base, and it does not move. So this bushing is fine, and I will keep it installed in the flipper plate. Let's see. So the next step, we are going to need to get our flipper cranks. So I've got some bats here. I've got a spring. I've got a coil stop. Let's take a look at the, these are Williams flipper crank and link assemblies. One thing that's important to note is look at the gray link on this guy. Do you see how it's tapered as it comes down to the plunger? That's important on the older Williams flipper assemblies because they use these compression springs to return the flipper to rest. And they need that tapered end so the spring will not break. Let me show you, actually I guess the real difference is looking at the other flippy flip. So this is a, most of the time I just carry these with me, these modern ones are these were started to be used on Fliptronic games, but look at them next to each other. And you can see the difference in link shape. So one of them is a lot more rounded and the other one is tapered. If you were to install these springs on this, most of the time they will end up breaking. They need that taper to center and not crack the spring. So a lot of the times though I carry these around with me and I will just cut the link into its own little taper, and that will work. That way I just don't need to carry two separate types of flipper crank in my box. And let's also take a look here. The actual crank is different. The way I have learned or taught myself to figure out which one is a left and which one is a right is by looking at it with the switch actuator, right? This guy facing away from you, right? The end of it facing away from you, and if it is pointing to the left, it is a left side. If it is pointing towards the right, it is a right side. So that is how I kind of remember how that works. So to put this back together, I'm going to insert my new flipper bat through the bushing. I'm going to grab my spring and left side crank and link here. I'm going to insert the small end of the spring into the link. The fat end goes up against the coil stay here. You can see that the coil stay, do you see those teeth? It's got these little teeth here. Those teeth are for the spring to center in, which you'll see when it's back together. But anyways, we simply take it and put it together, as so. Stick that through the coil stay, reach around, grab the flipper bat, get it through the hole here in your link. It does not need to go in the coil at all currently. But since it's resting there nicely, I'm going to leave it. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take my 3/8" opened wrench and I'm just going to start tightening down the nut that draws this together. Because what we want to do is create a pinching effect on the, oh crap. What we want to do is create a pinching effect on the flipper bat as it sits inside this crank, and that will allow me to micro adjust it to get it in the right position before we clamp it all the way down. This style of flipper crank and link kind of sucks, and that is why they, well, sorry, This crank and link is fine. It's this return spring that kind of sucks. And Williams changed that in Fliptronic era. This is what happens to those springs after a while. They explode and crack, and so they don't work nearly as well. Look at all that free play. Holy shit. That moves so much. That is like one of the most blown out of the blown out flipper pieces. So we'll get rid of that. Okay, so we could, oh, I didn't get any flipper, what are they called? Sleeves. Let me go over to my parts box really quick and grab a coil sleeve. I will need 2. We can tighten up the rest of the flipper now, and then we can concentrate on the actual crank and link and positioning the flipper. So we'll insert a new sleeve. This coil does feel like it is a little swollen, so we will check its performance. I always reassemble the flippers in this orientation. Games of this era will mostly be changed over this way now, but you want to put the end with the diodes on the coil away from the stop if possible. What that achieves is less vibration through those diodes, which results in diodes that break off of the coil a lot less often. When they're resting up here against the coil stop, they vibrate a lot more. The correct coil stops also for these older games are a bit shorter. You can use the more modern coil stops, which are like a millimeter longer and that, or like a ½ millimeter longer, and that's fine. Most people would never notice the difference, but since I have access to the correct stuff, we will be using the correct stuff. Tighten this down. Then we will go through the rigmarole of getting the flipper adjusted for the correct end play and position. Just use my T handle to give it just a teeny bit extra torque. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is I'm going to grab the flipper back here. And I've got enough torque on this thing where I can twist the flipper. Hold on, something is goofy here. Oh, there it goes. Oh, the spring wasn't centered. As I was moving this, I didn't hear the flipper actually hitting the actual coil stop. The spring wasn't centered perfectly, so double check that the spring is inside the stays. You know what, also, it's a little low, so once I get this adjusted right. But what I do is I have this thing adjusted in the way where the flipper won't move, but if I push it when it's at its full extent of travel, it will move up and down, so we can position the flipper correctly. What I mean by that is lining it up with our eyes to the best of our ability. So we're going to put this thing down and I'll show you. We have these are actually roll pins inserted in the playfield. There's one on either side. And during the factory, when they were putting things together, these roll pins would actually be stuck up out of the playfield. The factory person would then rest the flipper up against the roll pin, tighten it all down, and then they pound the roll pins into the playfield. These look like they're actually adjusted pretty dang close, so I'm going to leave it there for now. We will end up having to adjust these later. Perhaps we want to make sure that we don't have any hop here between the ball guide and the flipper, and actually resting it on the roll pin looks incorrect. So I'm going to bring it up just a little bit. I'm just using a little intuition. That looks like it'll probably be good. So I'm going to raise this sucker back up, and we will adjust the correct free play into the flipper and tighten it down. We're doing it. We're really doing it. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to grab the flipper with my right hand. And I'm going to rotate it just a tad, and then I'm going to move it up and down. And what I'm looking for is like a credit card's thickness worth of distance. Now, when you buy a flipper rebuild kit from us, you tried using the shipping code and it says expired. Oh, wait, where's even the shipping code? It's not even up. I don't know what I'm doing. Where's Emoto?
I'll tell you what you're saying.
I actually don't even know what the shipping code is.
PT-countdown.
It's countdown?
PT-countdown. Yep.
Okay, well, wait a minute. And can you message Emoto and say the shipping code doesn't work and see what she says? She'll fix it. We'll get it fixed for you, mate. What we are looking for is just a teeny bit of up and down play. You want a little space between the crank and the bushing. I don't have enough. So I am going to try and wiggle the flipper up a little bit, which then ruins my positioning, but then wiggle again. That's enough free play. If you buy a flipper kit from us, it comes with a little adjuster or like a tool, like a feeler gauge you can use to kind of measure that. It doesn't need to be perfectly exact, it just needs to exist. So I am going to just use a little bit of, again, my intuition, and that feels good to me. Too much free play is a bad thing. Too much free play will cause binding because you'll be putting like some weird axial force on the flipper as it tries to rotate. Too little will cause it to bind because it is too tight. And that feels good. So now we're going to tighten the ever-living snot out of this. Got to keep you on your toes with these rewinds. Do you see how my future intuition has like known that Pez Johnson would even be here 20 minutes into our rerun that I recorded at an indiscriminate date in the past that is not today, January. January, goodness, wow. Just kidding, June. Look at, see how I did that? Anyways, this is now tight. And we have an uncentered spring again. But that is looking okay. I don't like what this spring is doing now, so I'm going to rotate it and double check. We will see if that solves itself. Now I'm a little unsure of why I'm not getting a perfect, there it goes. While we're in here, we're going to adjust and kind of clean the end of stroke switch really quick, just since we're looking at it. While the end of stroke switch is closed like this, I'm going to slip my file in there, pinch it, and just pull. What that's going to do is just take off the crud that exists on it currently. I'm going to push it a little tight, and we're going to open. That's a lot. Let me move it out a little bit. Push it again. That's okay. When you're working on an old game, not something that's freshly rebuilt, you always want to check the end of stroke switch by pushing on the plunger. If you push it on the plunger, that will eliminate any free play that might exist elsewhere in the mechanism, which can also cause you to adjust the end of stroke switch incorrectly, thus resulting in issue. If you always push on what's being moved by the coil, you'll always get a proper reading. That looks okay. That is a put together flipper. That's all I need to change. That will make the flipper happy. The only issue this coil felt like it was a little snug, but it's seemingly performing okay. I bet it's okay. This capacitor is fine. This end of stroke switch is fine until it is proven that it isn't okay. If it isn't okay, we will fix it after the fact. They didn't look bad enough to justify me being like, oh, we're just going to change them out. They'll last a lot longer than a lot of people will give them credit for, especially on these games. That big yellow capacitor there is essentially a spark arrestor. When you violently mess with a magnetic field, such as a coil losing its 50 volts, or not losing, but as the end of stroke switch moves, right, you get that arc, you get a big blue flash on older games. That causes a lot of pitting in the end of stroke switches. So Williams added these capacitors sometime in the 80s, and that eliminates a lot of that sparking and violent reactions on the contacts, which thus makes them last a whole lot longer. Wipe away a lot of that crud. Capacitors don't really go bad. What you find more often than not is the leads will snap off of the capacitor, but these look okay. Okay. I need that, I need that, I need this, and I need this, and this. Insert our sleeve. They always make a very satisfying noise when you slip them in. Hello, Digerati Ohm. I have sparks on all my flipper switches on my C-Witch. How do I fix that? All of them were rebuilt, but not by me. That's normal, and that's totally fine. That is what they're supposed to do. There's not an issue there. You're just seeing arc from the voltage being violently ripped away from the switch that was carrying that current. So you're all good. But if you eliminate all the blue sparks from the EOS, how will the mice in the game know when it's rave time? Oh man, well, that's a good question. And we're going to have to ask a mouse expert. Unfortunately, that's not me. Those poor mice. I mean, maybe all the lights coming on the feature lamps will remind the mice that it's rave time as well. They just won't have like the pyrotechnics, I guess, that are popular with raves today or something. I don't know. All right, we're going to stick this big coil back in here. Get that coil sleeve to poke through the bracket. We're going to put that coil stop in. I'm going to install these bolts. All right, we're just going to keep on moving along. We're going to get a bunch of stuff done today. When Aaron got here, we just got the ramps kind of in, and I threw some balls up the ramps and watched the balls travel, and it looks okay. Hopefully we won't need to do a bunch of ball guide adjusting. I think I only took one ball guide out, so I'm pretty sure we'll be okay. I've already texted a progress picture to the customer. I was like, we're almost done. I told you I was working on it, I swear to God. All right, I'm going to take up the slack here in this bolt. And then we will adjust free play, adjust the flipper position, and then we will continue moving down. And then maybe we'll get an Imoto. Oh God, okay, well, let's use the open side for accuracy. I got butterfingers today. I got butterflies. Potential big news, we have, oh, you know what I didn't check? I didn't check the flipper bushing. We can kind of check that with the flipper in there though. I'm torquing it. Not twerking it, I'm torquing it. Yeah, it looks fine. These flipper bushings don't go bad nearly as often as like 80s games do for some reason. And also, this game is even as rough as it like seemingly looked. I don't think this game got played a ton. I don't think it was played enough to wear the bushings out. So. Okay, again, we're going to adjust in the free play. That is way too much. I'm going to get it just right. Oh, it's a little loose. The flipper bat is kind of moving too much, so we'll tighten it down a little bit more. Way too loose. Or tight, that's a little tight again. It's still too tight. Let's go DEFCON. That's a little much. Let's try to split the difference. That is okay-ish. I'm going to loosen it up a teeny bit more. It's better to be on the looser side than the tighter side to an extent. Like I said, if you get too loose, it will bind because of weird axial rotation-y stuff. Okay, I'm thinking that's okay. We're going to tighten the crap out of it now. This needs to be tight, very tight. But don't go like too ham on it because you can snap the stud that you are tightening this nut against. The action you are taking is pinching this gap that you can kind of see right here. Pinchy, pinchy, pinchy. It's collar around this shaft. So you have to tighten it a lot, but not enough to snap the stud. And you'll kind of feel when it's about done. Around there is like about the point where I feel like we're good. Do be careful when you are torquing on this. If you can kind of see the position of my wrench. Let me bring it on this side. I can't tell you how many times I've demolished my thumbnail. You'll find, I find that I'll end up holding it like something like this, and then you'll be running, and then you might slip, and then your finger will get smushed right here on the coil assembly or the flipper plate. That hurts a lot. But if you try to do it like this, you'll end up rotating the flipper somehow. So just get it into a position where you won't hurt yourself. Okay. Let me run the file through the end of stroke switch really quick. So we're just trying to remove all of the crud that is on it. And now I'm going to, again, jump in and just do a little adjustment of the switch itself. Moving the camera. That actually looks pretty good, so I'm going to leave it. Okay, I guess since I'm still working on coily related things, I'm not going to wash my hands just yet. Nice. Hey, the shipping code probably works now, so whomever was having issues with the shipping code, give it a shot again. K Hizzle. Yes, Shell Shock, we are going to power it up and play it today, most likely. Gavor, hello, welcome to the stream. Thank you for joining us tonight from beautiful Austria. So. Okay, we have a, as you can see, a goofy coil stop here. Let's look at a healthy slingshot. You have a coil stop that is attached to the bracket. Now we have a unhealthy one that is, it's got motion. We don't want motion. We don't need that. We don't need that. We're going to get rid of that. There's no way to fix that. There is a way you can fix it, I guess. You can use one of those Gottlieb coil stops that has a stud and a nut, but yeah, the real part is not very expensive. So what do we need to fix this? We need a 1/4-inch nut driver to remove the bracket from the play field. We're going to need some sort of a prying tool. I'm going to use a screwdriver The screwdriver will allow us to pop the E-clip off, and then we will need a Phillips head screwdriver to release the coil. So what I'm going to do is remove the bracket from the playfield first. Let's get a wider shot. The stream isn't complete until we hear the game say, "Thank you, boys." I agree. Thank you, boys. I was offered free shipping for finding an error on the product page. Free shipping sorted. Hey, yeah, there's a million errors on our product pages, so if you find any of them, let us know. If you don't agree with what is on that page, let us know. We will fix it. Going to remove these screws. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh God, there it goes. It exploded on us. Let's make sure we save that spring. We don't want that going flying away. Oh wait, duh. Why, we don't need to take the damn plunger off. What am I saying? I'm a dummy. We don't need a screwdriver. I was thinking about this wrong. But we do need a 5/16" nut driver. So get the 5/16, get our 1/4 inch, and we need to remove the coil from the bracket. So we're going to put our nut driver on the back. If your nut driver doesn't fit, obviously use an open-ended wrench. There's the coil stop. Bye. If you're lucky, you might be able to just knock it loose here. Nope, the screw's turning. Okay, not lucky. Now you get to do the fun balancing act of like using your belly to hold them together and then twist opposite of each other. Okay. All right. Having a slight beer belly. Absolutely a pro, not a con when you're working on pinball games. Loosen that up. Okay. Throw it around. That's absolutely what you're supposed to do. That was not a mistake. Okay. We can get rid of this bracket. That is absolute scrap now. All of you guys are just going to make fun of me, but there is like really not much reason to replace this coil sleeve. It's like, yes, it is a 70-cent part, but also, whatever. This is not, this coil is going to do what it's going to do, and it won't affect the performance like having a crummy one in a flipper. So unless this thing has like nasty ridges in it from that coil sleeve being damaged, I'm just going to throw it right back in. It does not. So it's going back in. We will wipe the coil off, though. It's not necessarily a cheap thing either. It's just there's no reason to replace it if you don't need to, right? It's like, yes, it's only 70 cents, but why? If it's fine, why? Do check your orientation when you put these things on. Like, it will work like this, but you'll notice that the wires are, I can feel the wires. It feels like it's a little stretchy. The correct orientation for this part was like this, with the leads facing the right side of the playfield. Going to put our coil stay back in. We're going to put our screw through the hole, and we are going to nut the back. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. Screw in, nut on the back. And then we are going to grab our tools once more. The only intricacy with putting this back together is we do need to ensure that the coil retainer bracket is like pinching the coil in, right? There is wiggle room with this assembly. You see how that's kind of cocked up now, or like this? We want to make sure that it's holding the coil nice and steady. So what I'll try to do is, this is again, like a lot of things in pinball you need 4 hands, but something like this, you can't see through my hands. I am holding the nut driver in my palm and using my fingers to steady it. I am using my index finger to push it down, and I am going to twist this until it's pretty tight. We're not going for the full tightening now. What we want to do is snug them up. Get these things nice and snug so then we can totally tighten them. So snuggified. That looks pretty clean and flush to me, so we will reassume the position and tighten it up. We don't want a loose coil. A loose coil is going to cause odd performance or poor performance, cause noise as the coil vibrates inside of its assembly. Going to grab our spring. This spring is tapered. It's wider at the bottom than it is at the top. Going to reinsert the plunger. Kind of carefully. Get that plunger in the hole. Make sure it is lined up correctly. We're going to grab our screw, our nut driver, and yes, I will read the chat. I see people talking. Borg Dog, what's up, dude? I'm glad you were streaming last week and we got to raid you very briefly while you played Starlight? Is that what that game's called? It's a neat game. I love the cool gradient on that playfield. Dragger. Yeah, try not to stab yourself with the screwdriver, always. Pro tip, you can use a fat stomach to rest parts on. Yeah. I absolutely am learning that as I become fatter, as I get older. Magnet on your belly to hold loose screws, you dorks. I want to see you adjust your pop bumper on Elvira. The bottom pop bumper of the 3 sometimes doesn't actuate when the pinball hits the pop bumper disc. Lubricating the pivot points did help with the multi-ball kicker. Great, I'm glad that helped. What's up, Emoto? We'll look at a pop bumper assembly off of the game so you can get a better idea of what it looks like and what might be wrong with your game. But we might need to adjust these pop bumpers, who knows? When we fire this thing up, we'll see if they suck. Okay, so we're going to tighten this thing back down. Hopefully yours doesn't have blown out screw holes. If not, you'll need to bust out the glue and dowel trick, but these ones seem to be tightening up nicely. As far as I can see, we're going to do some wiggling, right? Because we're ABT, always be tightening. That's our goal when we're taking a look at some of these games. But I think, oh, bollocks. I was about to say a bad word. I didn't bring my oil spout. My oil spout is in my other toolbox now. Hold on, I might have my super lube. Oh, good. Yeah, I think I mentioned we were live streaming with Jack on the 29th for the Foo Fighters finally, so that's cool. But I'm glad that Jack is totally on board. I was texting Jack last night saying, please, Jack, please. Okay, super lube is like absolutely overkill for this. Normally I use a Zoom spout oiler, but we will use a little bit of super lube because it's kind of the same thing. There are a few points here. This is actually a big lesson. Okay, give everyone a second. Everyone who is like just lurking or like looking at something more interesting on the internet right now, come in. Take a look at the screen, right? We're gonna actually learn something right now. It will be on our channel. Jack is going to join us on our channel here. That'll be pretty cool. Have Jack come back. We had Jack on the show when we looked at his Jurassic Park. We get Jack one more time. Okay. Everyone, hopefully he's gathered back in. We're going to talk about lubrication in pinball. And some of the very few places where lubrication in pinball is necessary. Not many, but pivot points. We're going to look at pivot points. Let's look at the most visible pivot point from the point of view of this camera. And it is the slingshot right here. Okay, so the pivot is attached to the playfield. When the slingshot moves, it pivots against that stationary bit right there. You see the rusty bit of that arm? That is a lubrication point. We want to make sure that that is lubricated with just a teeny bit of oil. And what that'll do is just help with the smooth action that we're looking for. The Super Lube container does a really good job because it does have a little pinpoint applicator, kind of like my Zoom spout oiler does too. So we'll just put a little bit of Super Lube in there. A little bit goes a long way. And then what we want to do is actuate this dude to work that lube in, and you will feel them loosen up a lot. And again, I just put a teeny bit in there, and now we have a lot better action. Now, from the factory, they did lubricate these. In the manual, it says to lubricate them. And in a perfect world, you would grease them, right? In an automotive world, metal on metal is something you would grease. This is just a pinball machine. And pinball games aren't as finicky as transmissions or axles or differentials or anything like that. So a little bit of lube goes a long way. The thing you want to remember, and the reason why I say less is more too, is something wet or liquid or viscous, whatever term you want to use, will attract grease. Or, I'm sorry, dust. And as you know, inside of a pinball game, there is a lot of metallic dusting that does happen. We don't want to create an environment where an excess of lubrication will cause an issue, such as, again, like attracting a ton of dust like that. So we're just putting a little bit in, and then we're moving it. This one doesn't feel super hot. Now it's feeling a lot hotter as it's worked in. A whole lot less force is required, and it snaps back into position a whole lot quicker. So just a little bit of lube, not much. So on this game, we would do it here on the ball serve, on both slingshots, and also on the multi-ball serve, which is down here, and this saucer. I'm going to do the saucer first because, here everyone, look at that camera. You get a good view. Most people have to go to my spicy site for this, but not you guys. Subscribers, thank you. Couldn't do it if it wasn't for you. Okay, we're going to move this sucker. That one feels really crunchy. You'll also watch the oil kind of work its way around the spindle as well, which is nice. Okay, and then I'm going to do the other one down here. There's one more place to lubricate on these a Williams game of this era. This era being a game that does not have a ball trough, being that this game has an out hole. Which then kicks the ball into a serving trough, and then that serving trough will kick the ball into the shooter lane using this guy right here. And you'll see, let me move this back out of the way. This is the one place I usually do like to take apart and use actual grease because the diameter of the shaft is fat, and this does well with grease. This one's actually pretty loose. I'm sorry it's not totally in focus, but it's not really that important to have it in focus. But where'd I put the... Oh, there it is. I'll just drip a little bit down here, and we'll call it good. Oh yeah, nice and detailed. Yeah, this little pen, we sell these little Super Lube applicators. They're great. Again, the other one that I use, I carry around in my other toolbox that I would normally use for this is a Zoom spout oiler, Z-O-O-M spout. I use this Super Lube. It's a Teflon-based lubricant, and I use that a lot for spinners and stuff like that. And it works incredibly well. Okay, as far as, dang it, hold on. This microphone's making me mad. It keeps sliding down my arm for some reason. What the hell?
You skinnier?
Huh?
You skinnier?
No, probably not. I think I'm just perpetually getting fatter, and that's fine. Oh, thanks, Jacob, for linking that. That's fantastic of you. As far as I know, I think it's probably time to actually play the damn game now, which is exciting. So we'll double check. We took this off. We'll mess with these pop bumpers. We'll just wiggle a little bit and make sure everything feels tight. It is always a good idea just to spot check with your with your nut driver, right? Just go take a look at some of these 1/4-inch head screws, and they're all feeling relatively tight. That's good. We already took that off. I mean, nothing else takes a big punch, so this feels pretty good. I have high hopes. So, okay, last couple things. Let's do a couple other things before we start playing. We have a few other details. Okay, flipper buttons. Oh no, this one unintentionally disassembles itself. How do we change that? Easy. We have a tool for it, which I actually might not have. But I can show you a way to do it without said tool. I don't have one in my box right now. I think I remember losing it, so I'll need to get another one. But a button nut wrench. Flipper buttons are held on using a stamped nut. And there is actually a special wrench you can use to get these off. But you have to remove the flipper switch, and that's kind of dumb, right? Why create extra work when you can do it with some needle nose pliers? How do you do it? Well, grab an edge of this nut. Okay, this one doesn't want to go, so let's see if it beats me. And push it and twist. Oh, there it goes. Ta-da! We can start undoing it. This is the proper orientation of installing these things too, with the stamped outside facing you, so it is a little easier to grab. But if we ever so slightly grab an edge and then push, right, lefty-loosey, it'll loosen itself up on the flipper button. That way we don't need to remove the switch, which is mildly inconvenient. And we don't like mild inconveniences here. We have important things to do, like play pinball and drink beverages and spend time with your loved ones, your family. Or maybe not. Maybe spend time with your friends or enemies. It depends on what kind of person you really are. But we're going to remove that. I'm having to hold the flipper button since it's kind of just twisting. This one is very firmly attached. I can actually twist the flipper housing now, and that's actually coming out much easier. Ta-da! So we can get rid of that nasty old button and replace it with a nice new button. This one has a spring in it. It's kind of redundant. It also has the little forming edges, so let's see if it fits. I'll show you what I mean. Okay, this one doesn't fit because it's not designed to work with these edges. Modern games and some video games will use those formed edges. Sorry, let's see. You see that? No, because it's not focused. Okay, you can see it now. Look towards the top of my index finger. Do you see that bit? If I rotate it this way, it's round, and if I rotate it this way, you've got that little edge. That's bad. That won't work in this game. It won't seat nicely. So, pretty simple. We're going to grab our snippy snips, or if you're a professional, they're flush cutters. But I'm not a professional. I'm just a dork. So we can just come in here and snip it. Snip. Snip. Be gone, Ridge. We don't want you. All right. Come in here, and we go snippity snip. Snippity snip. Be gone. There are two kinds of flipper buttons. There are flipper buttons that use a spring on the inside to reset, and there's ones that do not. Modern Stern games do not use the flipper buttons with springs inside. And this game also would not use one with a spring inside. These are just the ones I pulled out of inventory today because they're the first ones I saw, and it's fine. This gigantic backing blade here on this switch is actually there to put tension on this so it resets. But using one with a spring maybe will make the flipper press like 3 grams harder than it needs to be, and that is not a big deal unless you're a mega wimp, in which I would say work your fingers out just a tad. This is the nut. I believe the technical term for this is a PAL nut, but it is just a stamped stamped sheet metal nut that fits on this coarse thread button. So we can hold the flipper button in place, and we can twist this on. Flipper buttons come in multiple lengths. I believe the standard pinball button is 1 1/16 or 1 1/8 or something like that, and then there's like a 1 3/8 flipper button that's, sorry, like a push button that's more common on video games and video game control panels and stuff like that. Double check length if you're going to replace. Or again, if you're ordering off of our website, you can use part numbers from your manual, and that should be good. I do notice that this is a little loose, so let's give it a bit of a tighten before we move to the other side. How do you handle a stripped out 1/4-inch wood screw? Use a dowel and a little bit of wood glue. You can take a small wooden dowel, fill that hole in, cut it flush with some flush cutters like I was just looking at, you guys were just looking at, and if you want to be extra professional, put a little wood glue in there. I have a splinter. Oh, hold on. This is a bad one. We're gonna have to do a splinter extraction here really quick. Oh my God, I can't see. Whew, yeah, that was a gross one. Okay, it's gone. We're good. I have an appointment at the optometrist on July 5th. Thank you, Pez. I am. If someone wants to make me a sticker about that, I'll be happy to proudly wear the I am a giant dork sticker. You can't see my splinter anymore. It was too small for me to even see, but my fingers are gross right now. Well, you can't see because it's out of focus. But anyways, we have a flipper. I'm going to rinse, repeat, and do the same thing on this side. This game is going to get a little vacuum before I ship it. I'm going to clean the lockdown bar. We'll probably do the coin door next episode. And then we will basically be done with this game. A lot of this is rust, and it's not going to clean up. But we can make some of it cleaner. We can make it better. This is a lot of beer and soda and other things spilled in around the coin box area. That is why that is so absolutely disgusting. And there's not much we can do about that either, unless we really wanted to get in, like, you know, disassemble it, like get like a steamer and like really clean the heck out of it, but I don't, and it's fine. We'll probably hit it. I'll probably hit it with like a Novisi rag or like a Windex soaked rag of sorts to at least take like the surface grime off, but you're never going to remove like the stains out of the plywood. It's just part of the grossness of owning a old pinball game, but you learn to love it. Yeah, so this is a springless button. Has an E-clip on the end to hold the button in place. That's all we had to do to fix the other one, really, but it was just kind of gross. So it's nice to change them out. It looks better. You get all that finger grime in there. And yeah, the modern Stern ones don't have an E-clip on them, and sometimes they will have a problem with falling out of their housings. One thing you can do if you're on like location and you have a modern Stern flipper button that has failed is take your soldering iron and melt the end of it a tad, and that will retain it until you can get a new button to replace it with.
I was playing in a tournament when the button fell out.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Where?
Like that.
Really? Oh man.
Playing and it flew out.
Yep, that happens sometimes. Flipper buttons do take a lot of abuse. All right, I'm snipping the little webby bit off of this one here.
Sometimes it doesn't happen often.
It doesn't happen all the time, but it does happen sometimes. You never know. The lockdown bar receiver, it's not really gunky, it's just rusty. There's all the years of beer that has spilled onto it and it was never cleaned, but it does require a bit of cleaning here before we are done. I don't like to ship off a dirty game. You're not done until those sorts of things are done. Disrespecting the pinball repair business and people all around the world if you ship a dirty, nasty game like that. You know, use the plier technique again to get this around. I never like cleaning the dirty and the nasty off of games, but you know, again, it's a completionist thing, right? You got to do it all. Or you hire someone to do all the nasty stuff for you. And that's what I did for like a year. A decade ago when I was new at this. Okay, so those are there. That's great. What else do we need to do? Well, this shooter rod is A, not correct, and B, the spring on the outside is so compressed that every time I need to raise the playfield, I have to pull it back. Listen, listen. You hear that? That sounds like shit. That's not what it's supposed to sound like. Ugh. That thud. No thudding. We don't want a thuddy shooter rod. That's one thing that like my pinball autism really goes crazy about is like, that's your first interaction with the game, right? Is going up and pulling the shooter rod. And if that doesn't feel good, the whole game is ruined for me. Mm-hmm. If you pull it back and you shoot the shooter rod and it makes that thud, it's awful. And I hate these spready clips too. This is not an E-clip. This is like a pinch clip. These are a pain in the ass to get off of the shooter rods. It always ends up with a finger injury, so do be careful. Jesus.
I'm gonna tell you to be careful.
Okay. I'm just going to destroy it anyways because I'm not putting that back on the game. It flew somewhere and I don't care. I don't know if this is the right shooter spring, but we'll see.
10148.
Is that what the part number is? This one's 10149.
Yeah, that's the, yeah.
How smushy it is. Well, at least someone had the washers in the correct order. This is what this spring looks like. This is what this spring is supposed to look like. It's missing a few millimeters, and that's why you get that nasty thud when you're pulling the shooter rod. So that's bad. We don't like that. We get rid of these things. It also looks like this shooter housing does not, no, it does have a shooter sleeve. That's good.
Nice.
This housing is kind of nasty, and I just realized that. I'll probably try to hit it with some Novus, but I have a lot of success with these things. I'll show you what I mean. You hit it with some Windex. Windex and a nasty toothbrush will really help you up on that textured casted shooter rod housing. I need to dig for an E-clip for a shooter rod. Shooter rod? Shooter rod? What's a shooter rod? Let me get my E-clip box. No want thud. Want boing. Yes. Eternal Grimmy, you've hit that on the head, my friend. Give that man.
Rubik's toothbrush for best results.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, we're all pretty nasty, right? Just use the one you use to brush your teeth and get a new one.
Windex is such an underrated cleaner.
Windex is a good cleaner, huh? Kind of use it for everything.
So do I.
Okay, I think that actually might be my last. No, I only have one more. Aaron, would you send me a message, please? Can you say shooter rod eclipse? Can you also include shooter, can you also put slingshot bracket, please.
Shot bracket.
All right, class. Do we remember? You hear my voice crack?
Yeah, do you remember?
I'm like going through puberty again. Do y'all remember how these go together? What is the correct order of a shooter rod? Or shooter rud? Oh, someone's slacking me 1,000 times. Is that you?
It's me.
It's not a moto? I have 3.
I only sent you 2.
Oh, good. It wasn't a moto. It was you. And it was another channel that's not important. I don't read that one. Okay. It's not a moto.
I know it.
You know it. No one else is even commenting, so y'all are getting an F, a massive F.
Washer.
The washers are there to protect what? The sleeve. The sleeve.
Yeah,
Yes,
good.
exactly. Yes. So the washers are there to protect the sleeve. So we put handle, springy spring, washer. Slide that sucker through. Washer to protect the sleeve.
Good.
Springy spring. Put on that big springy spring. And then we get the clippy clip. Push that, ow, sucker. God, son of a god, dang it.
Well, I disassembled about 100 of these, so
Yeah.
together.
Ew, this is gross in here. I should have cleaned this before I even got this far. This is par for the course. You're supposed to drop this thing like at least 4 times until you realize you can't do it with your finger and you need to use a screwdriver. Okay, never mind. I got it.
Got it.
They clipped on. And then we cap it off with a plunger tip. Even though I used white rubber, I'm using a black plunger on this, a shooter tip, just because they kind of last forever and they don't wear out nearly as quick as the white ones do.
Man, that was so much nicer.
Yeah, now we can lift and close the playfield without having to pull the shooter rod, even though we're basically done lifting and closing the playfield 10,000 times. So now we've got the shooter rod, and listen. Yeah. It goes boing. I'm going to bend this flipper switch in just a butt hair so you don't have to push the flipper button all the way. Actually, that one doesn't want to go. So I'm going to take out our trusty pliers here and give it a bit of a bend. That's nice. And do the same thing on the other side because it's also gapped pretty far. Okay, cool. Okay, everyone listen again.
Pinball ASMR.
Yeah, you can't even see, the camera can't even capture that excellent springage. Look at that.
Oh.
That's pretty good. I'm pretty stoked on that. Okay, so let's lower this thing down and watch. Oh man, look at something's broken. Hey, you don't have to do this anymore. Why didn't I do that when we first started? I don't know. I ask myself why I don't do things a lot of the time. Okay, we've kind of transitioned from dirty work to clean work. I have to touch flipper rubbers, and I don't really want to get the dirt on the flipper, so we are going to wash hands. Wash hands really quick, because it's time to play. I never know if you guys can hear me as I go to wash my hands, so I'm going to come over here and wash them. You can listen. All right. Nothing like washing your hands. Excellent. All right. Oh, look it's La Croix. I'll have a La Croix. What flavor? Ooh, tangerine. La Croix. This is gonna be delicious. Mmm. Everyone could hear me washing my hands. Okay, good. I'm glad that you could. This does not taste nearly as good as the Spindrift waters. They kind of suck. Okay. Anyways, let's put some rubbers on those flippers. Mainly make sure my hands are nice and dry. I like the Spindrift waters because they have good flavor. These are they do taste pretty artificial. As much as the Marco branded PRW rubbers are the absolute best rubbers that you can get that are plain rubber, I don't like seeing that logo. So make sure that you put that logo down when you install the rubbers on your flippers. You can barely see it, but I always like, those are little details I like, right? Keeping the labels off of rubbers and stuff like that, make sure that they face, oh thanks, make sure that they face away from you so you don't see them. It's just a little detail makes things look better to me. Little attention to detail. And also ensure that you do push the rubbers all the way down on the flippers where they meet like their protrusion. There's like a lip where the rubber is supposed to sit. I always like quadruple check, and most of the time it's in the back where they don't reach. So. Nice, nice. Okay, we have Elvira. Woohoo. Yeah, woohoo. Check it out. I guess we can kind of use this as like playfield camera for a second while we kind of flap the ball around a little bit. We usually use that camera, but like it's, this isn't a gameplay stream. This is a, how much more crap do we have to fix stream? That's looking pretty okay. You got like a bit of a view there. Okay. Nah, not yet. Okay. Let's just see what we've got. We still don't have batteries in the game. That'll be a next time thing for certain. Along with, I'll have it cleaned, and I might do a little today. Like we'll put light bulbs in the coin door, and I might wipe the coin door down. I'll clean the legs slightly. These legs aren't bad enough to necessitate replacing, but we'll put new leg levelers on it. We'll probably put new leg bolts on it. Little things to make it look better. I'll clean off a lot of the gunk on the side rails. Today we'll probably finish putting LEDs in the back glass, et cetera, et cetera. Let's see, we'll get it out of factory settings. Get it into the games, attract mode. Okay, that's great. The lights on the Bony Beast aren't working. Let me make sure that I have those plugged in. I plugged in the lights for the ramp in the back. But no, they're plugged in. Maybe they're not in attract mode, or maybe they're dead. I don't remember if I did anything with them, but that's not important right now. We'll check that at the end. But we're going to listen for the balls to kick over. Yay. Yay. Let's service credit us. No. No. No service credits. Okay, then we're going to give ourselves. That's not obnoxious. And do this.
Hey, let's party.
The pot's really dirty. I'm twisting the pot up and down. You can try to get some of the crud off of it. All right, well, let's see. Okay, so we don't have a left flipper, but we do have a right flipper. So let's see what we can do with only one flipper for now, and we'll figure out why that's not working. Aha! Okay, that is definitely still jumping on that ramp real bad. This is also extremely tight. The switch is kind of bent really aggressive, and it's putting a lot of pressure against the gate. Wow, this is really weird. Oh, let me see. I'll adjust that later. Let's forget. Lane change works. That's good. Let's just verify solenoids work while we're in the game. So. Let me turn it down. One thing it's nice. I know what this game is supposed to do whenever you do things. So this is also a nice way to like check switches. Oh yeah, so it's not in attract mode. So drop targets are gonna work. All the pops are working. I haven't, the upper right pop is not working at all. So the switch is working, but the solenoid isn't going. So we'll look at that.
Good evening. Now we're cooking.
This kicker in the center. Slingshots work. Need to hit the right ramp and we can check the up kicker. Okay. All right, so we need to adjust this over. Do that now, just while we're looking at it. Nice and tight so that won't drift. What else? Well, we need to check the ball kicker too for the multi-ball. So we'll lock another ball. Lock that third ball.
Right. Organ. Ooh, nice organ.
Yay! All right. Gimme. All right. Good. So most of it works. We need to figure out why a few things aren't working. So let's. Where's the solenoid for this? I'm going to zap myself. No, I'm not. There it is. Let's party. Yeah, we really do need to party. Well, the stream's not over yet, so we don't have a thank you, boys. We'll get the thank you, boys. Let's do some checking here really quick. I want to double check I have everything plugged in. The flippers are going to be from the same source, so they're plugged in. I don't remember which fuse is which. Actually, thankfully, we have a cheat sheet. 50 volt coil, left flipper. Yeah, okay, the flippers are fused individually. So F6 is the left flipper fuse. So let's investigate fuses first. Fuses are that's a path of least resistance, right? Or it's a cheap thing to fix. F6 is right here. Now, I do feel like we did check all of these, and I think I visually checked them to be if they were blown or not. But no, this one's very broken. I can see it. Never trust your eyes. Always use a tool. Sometimes fuses can look absolutely fine, but they are broken. How do we test a fuse? Use your voltmeter in diode mode or resistance mode, right? We're looking for continuity. Diode's great because it'll beep if it's good. That's a bad fuse. Let's see. And F6 is a 2 amp. MDL2. I'm gonna use a. What is this called? Circuit breaker. I don't think I have a 2. I think I have a 3, but that'll be okay. Huh? There might not be any. If you want to check that, that would be cool. But 1 amp is really not that much in this scheme of things. And if this thing pops, then we know it's a bad fuse. So let's turn this back on. We need to get it out of adjust mode since I don't have any batteries. But since the game is also, the fuses, the flippers aren't like active until the game starts. So we're gonna credit up. I'm gonna hold this thing. Oh, there's no balls, so it's not gonna start a game.
Hey, let's party!
I'm flipping, I'm holding, and the fuse isn't blowing. So we're just gonna replace the fuse. The reason I use the circuit breaker is just because why replace fuses if you don't have to, right? That's kind of a pain in the butt sort of a thing. Do you see any 2s in there? Save you a second. These are great things to build and buy. I don't know where you can get these sorts of circuit breakers, but these are low amp circuit breakers. I have a few common sizes. But this is a 3 amp circuit breaker. I'll solder wires to a blown fuse, and then you can insert that fuse into the fuse holder, and you have a convenient little circuit breaker. The one thing Rob Anthony taught me, and I think is so brilliant, and I might do it too, is put a little time delay fuse, like one of the mini fuses, and he soldered a mini fuse to the edge of this, so you can have both sizes on one circuit breaker. So. It's a handy tool to have, but fuses aren't very expensive, but they can get expensive if you're really chasing a super nasty problem down. Any 2s? Oh crap, you know what? I don't have any 2s either. What the hell? I don't... 2 is a weird size. I don't carry 2s with me on the common. Can you please message me? I need 2 amp fuses too. Let me look in this random bag of fuses and see if I have 2s.
I can run back and get some.
It might be nice if we had the correct fuse, just because.
Yeah, why not? I can run and get it.
Do you mind? Thank you, Aaron. Everyone, please applaud Aaron for being the best. Those are 8s. Let me double check that it's an MDL2 also.
Yeah, that was right.
Most solenoid fuses are slow blow. Actually, I know it's a slow blow, so you could just go get that.
I'll be right back.
Thank you, Aaron. Everyone, please applaud Aaron. Wow, I have a lot of random fuses in here. I'm not far off camera. I'm just sitting over here by my parts box. Here. Actually, come along with me. We're looking at parts. That's a 4 amp. I need to organize these damn fuses. Most of them are organized, but some of them are severely unorganized, which is, I have 2.5s. It's close enough, but I'll wait for Erin to get back because she rules. Okay. 3/16 of an amp, 5 amp, 20 amp. Your big amperage fuses are going to be used in like lighting circuits. That's a massive amount of current draw. A solenoid would never use that much. 3 amp would probably be okay in this instance, but again, let's since we don't have to, let's not fudge it. What's that? Oh, this is a random bin of hardware I got that I need to do something with. Anyways, let's go figure out why that pop bumper wasn't working. Look, thanks for the applauding. She appreciates that. She deserves the applause. Edible Bard, you subscribed with Prime. Thank you, mate. Aaron number 1. Got all sorts of applausings. Thank you, thank you. Aaron rules. Let's figure out why the pop bumper wasn't working. So here's 2 things we can do. Let's check the fuse first. Let's also remove the balls from the game. It's amateur hour. They can just live in the back of the game for now because I'm lazy. Thank you. So the top right pop bumper wasn't working. The voltage wire is not connected to the coil. Okay, well, that's easy. Let's get these balls and fire up the soldering iron. What I was going to do was take a look and see what color the wires were that fed the power to the coil. Because then I could go in and check the fuse that feeds power there. But that was actually kind of a bunk way to check it because every other solenoid was working except for that pop bumper. So I should have kind of gone along the path of we know something is wrong with just that. What is it? But we definitely have a wire that has fallen off that coil. So let's open her up again. Y'all really don't get to see this because it is buried in there, but just have a wire that is no longer where it needs to be. So how do we fix that? We solder it back on. Plain and simple. Grab our wire strippies, and cut it flush. Cut ourselves a section of wire and wait for the soldering iron to heat up. I'm going to drink some water. How are you guys doing? What are we doing for time? Look at that, man. On a normal day, we'd be 20 minutes into the stream. Today, we've been going for over an hour. Good job, everybody. Thanks for joining me. You know what, though? Emoto is in here. Emoto, you're like 20 minutes past your prescribed time to actually be here. What the heck? You best have a good excuse. I'm just kidding. Emoto doesn't like us anymore. She's so busy with her arcade. Which she is. I'm not making fun of her. She's got a lot to do. We're going to tin the wire. We're going to tin the soldering iron, then tin the wire. What is this? That's just bent. I'm going to tin the lug. Try to pull the old wire off. Oh, now it's stuck to that wire. That's fine. Try to do this without moving the soldering iron, but I want to come in at an angle that's a little awkward. I hate working on pop bumpers on the games that the playfield only sits at a low angle like this. Doing a little bit of pinball yoga. Not confident in that whatsoever. It's not, I don't have enough solder on either of those portions, so we're gonna get that lug a little more soldery. Oh, that's not the right angle. That is perfect if I don't have to let go because it's burning my fingers. Holy crap, that's hot. Fuck. Fart. I didn't say the F word, I said fart. Okay. That did what it was supposed to do. Ow. Cool. Super cool. Okay, as soon as we have that fuse, we'll have a perfectly flipping game and a game that all the solenoids should work on. While I wait, I'm going to mess with this switch assembly here on the ramp. I noticed that the ball was jumping off of this ramp as well, which is a little weird. Need to do a little adjustment. Really quick, I'm going to wash the lead off my hands again, so give me a sec. Okay. Felt my phone buzz. That's an important text message. That is not an important. Stern Pinball says, get connected with new Godzilla code. Oh boy. My iFixit toolkit has arrived. Excellent. I'm going to turn the soldering iron off now that we're done with that. What's up, Chad? Moto the riot act. Downward facing resoldering. Emoto did not fire herself. I'm the boss. You can't fire yourself. Yeah, I can swear as much as I want now because Emoto's not here. All the bad words. Okay, I need to look at this and figure out where the bend is. I know what I need to do. I need to dogleg this switch just a tad. So I need to bend this up this way, and then I need to hold it here and kind of dogleg it down. A butt hair. That was not a butt hair. That was a... But I can't dogleg it that much because now it's not resetting. Wow, this is a weird one. Okay, I'm gonna undogleg it like that. Much better. It's a little draggy, but I will try a silly. I'm going to lube the actuator on that switch up against the wire gate. Just putting like a teeny butt hair of lube. Reduce the friction, and then it might be able to float a little better. Emoto, you're here but not here. Okay. What else can we do? I suppose I can continue removing some of these lamps. No, I'll just wait. We want to get that fuse in. I want to see if I can figure out what's causing the ball to jump so nastily here. Maybe I just need to try to hit that ramp better. I feel like I noticed it jump against the ramp and hit this ball gate. I know I've had that problem with Elvira in the past. Where's my number 1 screwdriver? Here it is. I'm going to loosen this just a hair. Replacement ramps are thicker, and thicker is better for durability, but thicker is worse for fitment. They are not designed for thick ramps like that. So sometimes they do take adjustments. Hammer it, of course. The coin door is extremely dirty on this game, and I am actually going to proceed with doing a little bit of that cleaning currently while I continue to wait for Aaron to bring me the fuse so we can keep flipping. I'm going to go try to find some glass cleaner, something that's not like, I mean, honestly, I just use Novus most of the time because Novus is plentiful in a pinball shop. I can't see any glass cleaner that's not the foaming stuff. I don't really want to use that, so I'll just use my Grody Novus rag. I'm going to pull this wire. You get to see me mess with my mic. Coin doors are important. Coin doors are one of the things you interact with on a pinball game, especially one that's on location. So having a coin door that is not nasty is fantastic. I'm going to Novus up this rag. Let's see if I can actually get some of the gunk off of this. You see how nasty the shooter housing is? It's quite dirty. Probably a candidate for replacement. I think this will clean up okay. Might need something a little bit tougher than Novus. Novus is great for cleaning dirt off of things like mostly just because it's liquidous. It carries dirt away. Something like this, it's nice because it will get into the actual like casting bit, but like a nasty toothbrush and like a little bit of rubbing alcohol will also get in here and clean that dirt off. I can't get like the really ingrained dirt, but I'm cleaning the less dirty dirt off actually quite well. I'm sorry, my head's probably in there. You get to see my my balding area. No one knows how bald I actually am because I'm so tall. This coin door, I'm going to clean. There's a lot of tape. I hate tape. Scotch tape is such a pain to clean off of things. But I want to remove a lot of the tape. I want to remove that old pricing sticker and replace it. Again, it's like these small little details that make games look so much nicer. But there's a lot of Scotch tape on this coin door. Scotch tape is difficult to remove unless you're using kind of like nasty chemicals. You can use abrasion or tools to scrape, but you do risk damaging and marring the finish of the door to get that off. These are painted, so you don't really want to remove paint, but you don't want the nasty Scotch tape on there. So sometimes chemicals and using your fingernails to scrape away is the best option. There is really not a replacement for elbow grease, though. This is actually cleaning up. It's just taking a while. Since I actually do have some fingernails right now, let me see if I can. Can you see? I don't think you can even see that. The tape is very clear, but you know, a lot of times places will put tape over the coin slots when it's no longer accepting a coin or there's a jam or something like that, and it's just awful that this, you know, 30-year-old Scotch tape is just next to impossible to remove. So if you are doing something like that, use painter's tape or something, please. Thank you, Aaron. Everyone applauded for you when I begged for it. Yeah, this tape is, oh my God. You have to be careful how nasty of a chemical you use versus the Scotch tape too, because you can, if you use something really nasty, you'll start taking the paint off of the door as well. So, yeah. If you are really patient, you can kind of peel it. This sucks. There's a bunch of Scotch tape all over this thing. Painting it black will fix it too, but I don't want to paint this. It's like you paint the door and then the rest of the cabinet starts looking like crap. So you need to start, and it's like, okay, well, what we're going to do to the cabinet? And I'm not going down that snowball route with this game. And I don't want it to look out of place. I'd rather, my goal is always to keep things like uniformly aged. I like the uniform aged look, but I also don't like I mean, having a bunch of this nasty Scotch tape all over this thing is just not very presentable. So, I mean, these can be replaced. Like, honestly, it's like it might be easier just to replace these, but getting this giant piece off, not fun. Not fun. So we'll do that later. I did use some Novus, and I cleaned the heck out of this, but I need to get a toothbrush. Toothbrush will take all of that out really quick. That's kind of for next stream. Let's get one of them tasty fuses. Nice. Oh, baby. We got the 2 amps. Let's throw one of these suckers in, and let's flip. Fuse me. You're fused. Oh, Gugon might be good, actually. Gugon might help with that. I usually use just rubbing alcohol, or 3M adhesive remover screwed up some coin reject inserts I had. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, those are too soft of a plastic. Gugon would probably work okay on those, but I'll probably, like I said, use paint thinner or something. So, sorry there's a nasty glare on the playfield, but this isn't a gameplay stream. This is a let's watch things work stream. Yeah, I know your factory settings.
Hey, let's party.
Yeah, let's party. You're kind of loud, Elvira. Let's see if this switch is working. No, it's not. Okay, I'll mess with that later. The maid switch will compensate for it, thankfully, but I need to fix that. The goal now is like, we're not playing the game, but we're just watching the ball travel. We're watching and seeing for things to be correct. We want to see the ball return in ways we expect it to. I also haven't ever checked the level of this game, so we're not looking for that either. But when we make an orbit, or when we hit the right orbit, we want to see, does the ball travel nicely? Does it chatter? Right side pop bumper is not working still, but I think the switch was misadjusted. We might pull out the pop bumper anatomy model to look at that. Oops. Oh, I wanted a bounce. I didn't get a bounce.
What if you're a pinball repair person and you can't play or get in the shop?
Well, you might need to find a new career. I'm not very good at pinball, but I do know how to make the ball do things that I want it to do. Whee! That's not what I meant to do either. I think these brackets need to be bent just a bit because they're both kind of facing. Oh, you know what? Also, I'm way taller than most people that can do it. Can we judge your play? Yes. Nope, there's no interlock switch on this era of game. There's a memory protect switch, but no high voltage interconnect. That didn't come around until the first couple WPC games, I think. You can kind of see what's going on with that camera too. Okay. I'm getting a little chatter when I'm launching the ball. I want to make sure that the ball shooter or ball launch ramp is centered correctly. Oh, come back. Okay, I missed it. Okay, I want to keep flipping the ball around and just continue to watch things. Actually, before I do that, let's put the game into switch test. Oh, there it goes. So this pop bumper switch it's just kind of dead. I think the switch could be dirty. I'm getting a pop every once in a while, as you can see in here. But most, I think it's just dirty. It is kind of working in every zone, every degree I go around, right? When you think about a pop bumper's zone, there should be 360 degrees. Most of these only work between a certain degree and not. So if the switch is out of adjustment or the spoon is out of adjustment, you might only get a hit in a certain degree range, but I can kind of do it all the way from the bottom and around, and I still get kind of half hits. I think it's just dirty. So we'll take a look at that. I'm going to power cycle just to get it out of the test mode really quick. Let's credit it up again and just kind of play a little more. I am easy to spot most places. Did I learn this over time? Yes. Yes, I did. I've been working on pinball games. I mean, I guess considering I bought my first one in 2007, 16 years? Jesus Christ. Yeah, but I've been doing it like for money. I got my first like real, I get paid to work on pinball games job in like 2011. So. Hey, let's party! I didn't think lock was supposed to be lit off the bat. I don't remember that, but I think again, I think all the switches are actually the ball paths are good. I think everything the game is doing is fantastic. It's right now we've just got a bummer pop bumper, and I need to adjust the entrance switch on the right ramp. Check some lamps, but otherwise, like I think it's good. Otherwise, it's playing very well out of the box. We have functionality out of everything. We had, well, that was a weird plunge. I full plunged that, and it was goofy. So that could be a centering issue on the plunger assembly, though. So. When are the boogeymen supposed to go? Oh yeah, wait. Yeah, and the jam lights are supposed to light lock, right? So you're supposed to hit the drop targets to light lock on this game, if I remember right. They're always lit. Whatever. We'll look at it. But these respond, right? A is not lit. Yeah, that's working. I wonder why it's always lit then. Yay! Oh, I couldn't turn it up and hear the thank you boys, but maybe you guys, maybe Pez heard it too. Thank you boys. We got to get those boogeymen on. I'm going to get new boogeymen for this game. I'll keep the old ones. Yeah, let's get the multi-ball. We'll flip the game around. Multi-ball's a great test for the electronics, right? There's 3 balls flying all over the game and causing a lot of chaos, and more than a single ball would. Oh! I guess this game needs a tilt bob too. Damn. I mean, I don't put tilt bobs in most of my games. I don't care about tilting. Come on. Oh, oh my god! I got a straight reject off the ramp. Okay, so we need to fix that too. It's goofy. I think we'll manually activate multi-ball because obviously I cannot hit the lock shot. Or just backhand it.
Yeah, that's what I said.
I know.
Backhand.
Super sick organ solo. I think the third ball is stuck up in the pop bumpers somewhere. But one of them's dead, so I'm not considering that a failure. The ball search time? No. That is coded into the software or hardware or like the operating system of the game. Like if you wanted to look at it that way, it's not something that is operator adjustable. Well, that was not very insane, but whatever. I'm pretty confident that electronics and like solenoid-driven device-wise, this is fine. I'm pretty stoked. So now it's a lot of just like cosmetic tuning. We're gonna figure out why that pop bumper isn't working. I wanna try hitting the left ramp over and over again. I also don't understand why lock is always lit. Ah, that is a nasty brick. I'm thinking it's because the ramp is thicker on the entrance, and I'm hoping the solution to that is not removing the ramp and shaving some off the bottom. So, yeah, some things do wear themselves in. Like that is a truth, but I don't think that one. Well, we'll see. Can never say never, but we'll definitely be playing it a bit. So let's check this pop bumper really quick. I'm not even going to put it in test. I am just going to run a very dull flexstone through this file or this thing here. I'm using a dull and not like very gritty flexstone because I just kind of want the paper or the flexy flexstone material to rub the dirt off of that pop bumper switch. So I'm gonna stick my head in here and find the switch. Oh, actually, does this switch like never? Oh, someone's been in here and mangled that thing. Okay, well. This is actually an adjustment now and not just a cleaning. The switch is mangled. There is really no way for me to show you this. You're just going to have to believe me. When I look at this switch, I can see that it doesn't have like a smooth bend. Someone has been in there and made the switch rather wavy. So what I am doing is I am kind of trying to bend it as straight as I can. That is the danger of using switch adjusters if you don't know how to use them. A switch adjusting tool is meant to be used at the base of a switch. And I'll show you what I mean because we're going to get our anatomical pop bumper model out. Always adjust pop bumper switches with the power off. The pop bumper switches are extremely close to solenoid voltage. Introducing solenoid voltage to the switch matrix on a pop bumper is extremely easy. That is also an extremely easy way to explode things on your computer. I'm kind of getting this to the point where I can just adjust it using my thumb. I don't like using switch adjusters for everything, except for like maybe fine adjustments. are more sweeping adjustments. That might be okay. This is the shittiest pop bumper to have to adjust. Now it is adjusted in such a way where it doesn't even work. Okay. Let's turn it off again. I either have it adjusted all the way closed, so the switch is never actually opening, or I have it adjusted just far enough away. Oh yeah, it's adjusted a little far away because it's still got a wave in it. I wish that you guys could see this, but there's literally no way. I need to access both sides of the switch. I also think I'm going to abandon the switch adjuster and just use my thumb or my fingernail. Oh, come on, fingers. I'm poking the switch and I'm moving the skirt at the same time. And what I'm noticing is when I poke the skirt, the switch is moving immediately, which means that the switch is adjusted much too close. Pop bumpers are difficult to adjust. They need to be close because you need good action. But they also need to be adjusted just far enough away to not phantom close. When there's a lot of pop bumper action, those vibrations might cause a very close switch to close. So the left pop bumper will fire when it's supposed to, and then the right one might go because it's adjusted too close. Brrr. Okay, I'm going to mess with this with the power on, but I'm not using a metal tool, and I'm going to go to the other side of the game. So we can get a different vantage point. I think it's actually adjusted much too far away. That was me pushing the switch, closed. Man, is it just really dirty? Because it's seemingly like very inconsistent still, even when I'm like forcing it shut. Oh no, actually that's a lot better now.
Yeah.
And turn the power off because again, it is just ever so slightly risky to make these adjustments to the pop bumper switches with the power on. But I think we're actually in a pretty good spot, so I'm happy with that. Let me bust out my anatomical model. Dun, dun, dun. Let's please man the camera.
Gotcha.
Somehow. You're going to be in the top right, though. Oh, wait. Yeah, you're still there.
Yeah, do you want?
I want that one. Okay. Here is a... Oh, hold on. Actually, I need some delicious water.
Oh, you're still, I'm still on the top right here.
Mm-hmm. I just need you to recenter it on me, I guess, is what I meant.
Come on.
Mm. Okay, here is a pop bumper. This is a Data East. Who did that? Me. This is a Data East style pop bumper, which is actually very similar to this Bally style pop bumper, where it all rests on a plastic base. Which is then you're able to remove this from the game very easily for service. Traditionally, pop bumpers are a giant pain in the ass to service. These are a lot easier. The big downside to this is when the plastic decides to break, you're SOL. Okay, so let's look at the anatomy. Above the playfield, we have the pop bumper body. We have the pop bumper body. We have the rod and ring. We have the pop bumper skirt. A traditional pop bumper would have another little base underneath, which holds a spring, which you can kind of see here underneath the skirt, and that's what centers the skirt. And then there's screws that hold that to the playfield. So we can imagine this blue bit is the playfield. Beneath, we have the stem of the skirt. So when I move the skirt, see that stem? That's all one piece. This white piece here is the spoon. Oh. The white piece here is the spoon, and this is the switch. The rod and ring, this is the rod part of the rod and ring, these guys here. These are threaded, and those are sandwich attached with these two bits. I'm trying to find the best angle to show y'all. These bits here, those are called the pop bumper yokes. So those sandwich around a plunger here. That plunger has a hollowed out bit. It's skinnier. You've got the full diameter of the plunger here at the top, the full diameter of the actual plunger is here, and this is skinny. So these yokes will go in and wrap around the plunger, essentially, and then you screw it together. And that is how the rod and ring is attached to the yoke, or the plunger, which actuates the assembly. And then we, on this assembly, we have this retaining bracket here, which retains the coil against the coil stop. So pretty simple. Well, it's actually pretty complicated, but it is pretty simple. What we have here, then, the problem I was having was this switch was adjusted really poorly. Let's look at the anatomy of a leaf switch really quick. It's kind of a busy background. Actually, here, you can use my shirt, sort of. You've got this bottom blade here. It's hard for me to keep this centered. I want to like look at the pop bumper, but I need to look at the screen. This bottom blade that's kind of angled upwards against the switch, that's kind of that's what we would call like a tensioning blade. This camera is so out of focus too. If Emoto was here, she'd have it all focused up. She'd be tripping out on this.
Sorry.
No, it's okay, Emoto. Don't even come today. She's, you're so dang late. No, I'm just kidding. We miss you. Then you've got the two actual blades of the switch. So you have see the contacts here? If I were to spread this open,
How do we focus?
it's all through OBS. It's annoying. Okay, actually here, come here and do it. Come over on them. I'll try to explain it to you on the computer because it is kind of like going in and out in a weird way. So use the mouse. It's gonna be a lot easier. See Razor B right there. Right click. Click Properties at the bottom. Configure video. Yep. Okay. Now close the screen that you see the Properties screen. That one that shows my neck. Yeah. Close that. Okay. Now shit. Hover over. Yeah, that works too. Yeah. Bring that to the front. There you go. So hover, see the OBS icon at the bottom? No, we'll bring that back to the middle. See the OBS icon at the bottom? See Slack? Hover over that, and now, yeah, you go. Click it. Click the window. Yeah, right there. Ta-da! There we go. Okay, so now go to camera control, and then you can move the focus. Yeah, okay, sorry, that took a second here. Okay, bitchin', yeah. That is pretty good. I'll make sure I try to hold it here. Thank you, Aaron. So we have the two actual blades of the switch, right? So we've got the contacts right there. So you've got the long blade that rests, and it should be tensioned against the spoon. So when the spoon the skirt moves the spoon, that blade starts moving immediately. That's how we achieve pop bumper action, right? This tensioning blade here is to keep this blade in position, and that is what kind of, that's how pop bumper action works. Now, two things can go wrong with this. If you adjust them too close, like I said, and they actually stay stuck closed, the game will never see the switch change state, which will never actuate a pop bumper, which it will just constantly be dead. If they're adjusted too far away, which is not very much in the case of a pop bumper, you may never, ever, ever get any pop bumper action because the switch is too wide. Or if it's adjusted in just the right way, maybe only one section of the skirt will create action. Other problems. Again, the adjustment is extremely fine, but it needs to be perfect because if you don't get the pop bumper action, you're robbing yourself of points and excitement. Another issue, especially on older games, is the spoons will get very dirty, or maybe they're just out of adjustment a little bit. You can see that the spoon is pointed. That is so the skirt rests in that point. And that is so any millimeter, teeny bit of movement will cause the spoon to start moving down to depress those switches, right? So if it's dirty, or if it's not centered correctly, you'll have very bad action. If the switch is adjusted offside, maybe one quadrant or one half of the skirt's 360-degree area of attack will cause the switch to move, but not another section. If it's extremely dirty, again, yeah, you won't have good action. It'll be sluggish. Another problem with extremely old games is that all of the grit and dirt will collect in the spoon, right, as it gets very dirty, and you'll actually wear a hole. The skirt will wear a hole through the spoon, which then you won't get any action at all. It's a pain to get these things adjusted ever so right, but when you get them perfectly, it's really wonderful.
Shellshock asked, you said always adjust the leaf switches at the base.
Yeah, okay, so one thing you'll see when people adjust these things is, first off, you never adjust the top, right? You don't adjust the long blade. You never adjust the long blade. The only adjustment you make to the long blade is against the spoon. A lot of times people will try to attack switches from the middle, and you'll kink them. When you're trying to adjust switches with these switch adjusters, and yeah, that's why I say it's like you can do a lot more damage than good with these things if you don't know what you're doing. But is adjust them at the base where they come out of the like the fiber bricks, right? So like, look, I'm going to put very, very minimal rotational torque on this thing, and like you see how much it spreads, right? We're trying to make those adjustments here while keeping the leaf as straight as possible without kinking it in a weird way. The reason we're doing that is we want the switch contacts to like touch like in plane. We don't want them attacking each other like, if this was one, they're supposed to kind of touch like that. But we don't want them to touch like this or something. If you were to kink it really hard, we still want them to be able to touch with the most surface areas possible for a clean touch. It's just good practice. And again, actually, on these switches, really, you're not even supposed to adjust this switch. You're supposed to adjust the tensioning blade. Now watch what happens when I move this tensioning blade. The switch opens. And when I adjust it this way, the switch closes. That's what the tensioning blade is there for on this switch assembly. So that is an important way to adjust this assembly's set of switches. Again, on Elvira, someone went in there and mangled the hell out of it. A lot of the times, I love these things because they're useful. They're especially useful on electromechanical games or when you're working on a big bank of leaf switches. If I'm working on a pop bumper, a lot of the times, these are your best switch adjusters, I swear to God. Adjust them way out. Pull them out. Get them out of adjustment, and then you can use your thumb pressure just ever so slightly to get them back into adjustment. Again, because if you look, it's hard to convey this over video, but if I use just like the teeniest amount of rotation, I'm getting a massive amount of movement on that switch, right? I mean, again, we're like that is like a half of a millimeter, but in the scope of a leaf switch, that's a huge range. Using your fingers to just kind of go, eventually you'll get there. So you can go both ways, but just easy, small movements. Again, when I'm doing it, I'll like to adjust them way out of adjustment, like way out of adjustment, and then tension it in until you get it into a perfect bit. If it's out of adjustment so bad, or someone made a bunch of wangers in the switch. So, yep, that's a pop bumper. Look at that, we're at 4:05. It feels like I've been doing this for 2 hours, and it's like, wait, I have been doing this for 2 hours. I'm exhausted. But we're gonna keep going. What was wrong? That stupid switch. I wanna mess with that stupid micro switch a little bit. We need to figure out why the ramp is jumping hella hard. Got to put some LEDs in the back glass. I'm not putting batteries in it today. I think next episode is going to be like batteries and cleaning, coin door spiffing a little bit. We'll put new leg bolts on it, new leg levelers, and that'll be it, really. Got an hour more to go. Rebel Dog, what's up, dude? Yep, that is also a good point. Especially when you're working on electromechanical games or very old games, making sure that the switch stack is tight is absolutely the correct thing to do first. If you, again, imagine on an electromechanical game on like a relay, you'll have many switches, maybe 4 to 5 switches stacked on top of each other. And if this suddenly becomes loose, or over 50, 60 years, as it loosens up, they start to spread ever so slightly. And again, it's like if you're starting to spread a little bit, that distance you'll really throw all those switches out of whack. So getting in there on those big switch stacks and closing them down, you'll feel like a quarter turn, a half turn of a screw into a relay bank is a massive win for you. If that thing is starting to become problematic. A half turn will really tighten those things up, and it might instantly bring all those switches back into adjustment. So that's a pop bumper. Hopefully that was interesting. But a lot of new pinball people, or people that are just getting into pinball, or don't maybe have the biggest grasp on the historical side of pinball, they don't like pop bumpers. Kind of weird. I hear that a lot. I see a lot of people talking about that. It's neat when you have a game like the Foo Fighters, a fantastic masterclass in pinball games without pop bumpers. It doesn't have a pop bumper. A lot of people don't like pop bumpers because it slows the game down. Pop bumpers were used to create random or be a good source for points, especially in lower scoring games or older games, right? And we have a pop bumper garden right beneath a lane of whatever, entry lanes or whatever. And I think the creative use of pop bumpers in games like Godzilla or TNA or something like that are really, really great uses of a pop bumper. It makes it an interesting target because it's responsive. Just like the kicking target too. James Bond is a master class in 2 pop bumpers that are both driven at the same time that have so much action. Lots of points. Yeah, it's pretty wild how much they can give you sometimes. But pop bumpers at an orbit. No, pop bumpers are a great thing in an orbit. I think it's kind of neat though, but pop bumpers make, when you think about a game like Whirlwind or Addams Family, because if you shoot for the pop bumper shot in Twilight Zone, you're in Psychopath. But in those sorts of games where you need to make an orbit, it makes it difficult. If you fudge the orbit and you don't hit it clean, the pop bumpers create massive randomness that could end the ball right there.
Iron Maiden. Right? On the left side?
Yeah, Iron Maiden too. Yeah, that shot goes right through pop bumpers. That was kind of Pat Lawler's signature shot on many of his games. You have pop bumper orbit style shots. So, Edible Bard says, does the ramp have any adjustment for how it's attached to the playfield? Like, is it an oblong hole, or is it set in place? It is very much set in place. But the one thing that is adjustable is the thickness of the ramp where it touches the playfield. Again, replacement parts aren't perfect. And these ramps are much thicker than the originals. That's great because they are sturdy and they will last longer. But the thickness does affect fitment. So anyways, let's move this back. You just look at my shirt. Anyways, you switch the cameras around. Can you put the center cam to be the Sony? So you want to close the eyeballs on the top too. So that one and that one, not the Sony. Yeah, there we go. All right, hey. Thank you, Aaron. 2 pops at the same time. How cheap? Must be a home. No, it's a interesting, clever way to save a driver. Okay, Emoto wants to join, but I'm going to read Danish's post. Welcome, mate. It's nice to see you again. Pop bumpers lean on and trigger simulation. What is? No, yeah, I agree, and it is the thing. What is fun, right? If fun was quantifiable, if fun was totally quantifiable, there would be every single pinball game would be a perfect game, right? If you could make something perfect every single time, and it was fun, there would be no bad pinball. But that's the problem, right? Fun is extremely subjective.
Get that to focus.
Hold on, Emoto. Team viewer doesn't want to work, so give me a sec, dude. I really like strategy games where I stare at a map and I stare at numbers and I try to make a number go up, or I move things strategically and tactically, right? Those are my favorite games. I like games where I have to build. I like games where I strategize and make effective supply chains, right? Those are my favorite kinds of video games. Some people love Call of Duty. That is the exact opposite of that kind of a game, right? It's a different kind of fun. If every pinball game was fun, there would be everyone would like every game. But that's why pinball's so interesting, because they're all so different. Fun is watching tech streams. Oh, good. I'm glad you're in the right place. I don't know. Yeah, it's interesting. I think there is a good philosophical debate to be made about fun. I like old games. I don't. What? That's just a bit out of focus. Well, I think it also could be a white balance thing too.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a fun conversation to have. I think not for today, but for a future date for sure. Like, what is fun? I like. Aaron and I played James Bond earlier today, and that was fun. The changes in that game were fun. The great code updates were wonderful. Then I after that, I stepped over to Strikes and Spares, and I love the simplicity of that game, right? I prefer a simple game. Or here, even something like this. Avengers is one of my favorite games I don't like to play. I really like that game because it is a really amazing game to shoot. I love making the ball do everything that it can do on that playfield. I don't understand the rules. I don't know effectively what I need to do to score so well. So there, it brings like a point in there, right? Why do you play pinball? Do you play pinball for score? Do you play pinball to make the ball do fun things? I like to play pinball to make the ball do things that I find enjoyable, which is why I love those wacky ramps that are all over Avengers. I love the little spinny disc. My little lizard brain gets happy when the premium lock goes like doo-doo, and the ball moves forward, right? Like those things are really cool. But that game doesn't bring me joy from the software so much because I don't get it. Now, does that affect me negatively in a way where like I cannot extract fun from this game because I need to play it for score, or I should be playing it for score, or should I just be okay playing it because I enjoy it? Well, fun's subjective. Why isn't Emoto here? Yeah, I play games so you can break them again. That's me too. Break them and continue fixing them. If every game was fun, we'd call them KME games. Yeah, sure, but I know plenty of people that really don't like Keith Elwyn games. I don't understand them. I don't understand who people don't agree that Iron Maiden is like the greatest game of all time, but well, some people think that way. So it's fun is subjective. I'm gonna throw LEDs in the back glass. I'm taking out all the blackened, nasty bulbs out of this game. Spec box, insert. I like the novelty of playing silly 80s games that use the same voice synthesizer chip as the speak and spell because I find it amusing when it says, chalk up and shoot the 8-ball. All right, I find that very fun from a nostalgia standpoint. I wasn't around to play 8-Ball Deluxe when it was new, but I find it very fun because it's so interesting and old. What is fun? What is fun? A disjointed, stupid rant by Kyle Spiteri. Hi, Emoto. What is going on? Emoto sounds like she's in a construction site. Oh, I'm muted on Zoom, so Emoto can't hear that I'm at a construction site. Hi, Emoto.
What's up?
We missed you.
Hello, everybody.
Welcome back to Emoto, the actual host of this show.
I made it. I made it to the big screen. Let's fix it.
Yeah,
How's
we're
it
just
going?
here. We're just here philosophizing now. We're not even doing pinball repair.
All I can do is watch you and wish you were here at my arcade doing this to all my games.
Well, do you want to buy this Elvira?
Is the guy selling it? Yes.
Yeah. He is selling it, and you might be able to get it for a pretty okay deal.
I'll buy it.
Really?
Sorry, everyone else. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll tell Ron that I might have a buyer, and I'll see if I can get you a really good price on it.
Okay, that would be amazing.
All right, cool. Great.
Yeah, buy the game, y'all. And I gotta do a flipper rebuild on the left flipper of Lord of the Rings. And my demo man, we moved to the arcade and it was playing and then something popped. So now it turns on for a second and then just dies completely. So that's fun. And the claw doesn't work. So that's extra fun.
Yeah, the claw's a pain in the ass. You need to, I think all the optos need to work on the claw before it will work at all. I think that's the exact problem I was having on the one at Graveface. So I need to make sure I come prepared to do that when I go to Savannah next. Okay.
Captain Zanzibar, it was great to meet you too. And everyone else at Northwest. It was really cool connecting with everyone. Mr. J. Crane said, Emoto, if you buy it, have Kyle do a signature on it somewhere.
God,
Service
no.
by Kyle. I know. You do have little like black cat service stickers that you put in your games?
I used to, but since I don't live in Vallejo, California anymore, I don't use them. We did I think I've said this a few times, but every time I work on a dog soccer, I always when I take the soccer ball off and I write my name and write Kyle was WUZ here, and then I write the year.
Oh yeah.
So
you should totally do that.
I've done that on approximately 10 dog soccers that live in California. So if you have a World Cup soccer that came from California,
Oh yeah.
you
Check
might
it.
have my signature on there.
That would be. I really hope someone finds their dog soccer and sees it. Yeah, for sure. I'm trying to find my cool background. Is it this one? Yeah. Is it this?
I don't know if
Copy?
the camera's centered on. Oh, Emoto is
Ooh,
making the
that's
stream
not
actually
it.
look good.
Hold on, sorry.
Oh, it's okay. I'm just flipping again. I've been just using the full screen view Emoto because it just gives a better view of everything, you know?
I know. Oops. That's wrong.
God, yeah, it's just totally bricking on the.
Now I feel all cozy. What's up, Digerati?
Huh?
Jim,
Oh.
my arcade is called Captain Crazy's Paradise. And it's a free play arcade in Gulf Shores, Alabama.
Somebody else, she's got control.
Alabama.
I have the control. Although I'm frozen. No. Uh-oh. What did I do? Maybe I should use this Ethernet cable provided.
Making micro adjustments to this thing here. Okay, but we're still getting massive air balls. So, what should I try and do? I can try loosening these screws a teeny bit here.
Reconnect me. Come on.
What did you
can
get
do it.
disconnected from?
Oops.
The only thing I'm really concerned about was is that left ramp right now. Otherwise, everything else is really sweet. The what time is it? 4:20? 2? Ah, nice.
Ooh.
It's my favorite number.
Time. 422 is your favorite number?
Yeah, yeah. I don't subscribe to 420. I subscribe to 422. Well, I'm always just fashionably late to everything, so, you know.
Rebel Dog said, did you move to Gulf Shores from South Carolina? Well, in fact, I have never lived in South Carolina. We do all this stream via technology. And,
yeah, I guess, here's a
but
question.
yeah, I have a place in Gulf
How-
Shores. That's where my parents live.
How many of you know
So they're going
that...
to be running the arcade because I refuse to let them retire.
How many of you guys know that Emoto and I don't do this, like, near each other ever? Like, we are many states apart from each other for 100 and at least 125 of the 130-something episodes we've done. It's like-
Easily, yeah.
Remember, like, we started doing this show in the, like, April of 2020 when we couldn't even, like, leave the house. That's why we started doing this show, is because I
Yeah,
was
we
stuck at home.
figured it out. COVID style.
Yeah, that's wild. That was a long time ago. God. Do you remember how shit that first episode was, Emoto?
Your phone blew up because we were using your phone to
Yeah.
do the streaming, and then it literally fried and like exploded.
Yeah, it ruined my phone. Like the screen burnt out basically because it like overheated while we were using it to stream, and I was so nervous. Like,
And you had to decorate your room.
yeah, we like hung a bunch of
With the-
black curtains over the windows to make it like not so light. God, that was insane. But
Good times.
yeah, it's kind of wild. So we've been able to achieve a decent production value, using our kludgy methods, and I don't know. You guys keep coming back, so I guess it doesn't suck that bad.
You're entertaining.
You're entertaining. I guess I'm an e-clown. I keep telling Jack he's an e-clown, but now I'm the e-clown because he doesn't even stream anymore.
I know. What an era. The era of dead flip.
Yeah, now it's time for someone else to take over. Okay, can you make the
Yes.
yeah, you know what I'm trying to say. Make the other camera the main one. Let's do another flip through of the game really quick. You know what's a great thing to do is actually using a cell phone to grab high-speed footage of slow motion footage of the is it broke?
That's weird. Yeah. Seems like it.
That's weird.
That's weird.
Go to the close-up one.
That worked.
No, it's good. The camera's fine. It's just not switching sources for some reason. LEJ, it was a Pixel 2 XL. My favorite phone I've owned in a long time, for a long time. But it did have a known issue with those screens, but the massive amount of heat exacerbated the failing of the OLED screen. So now I'm on my Pixel 5, which rules, and I'm excited to get. I don't know. Actually, this phone has zero problems, so there's no reason for. Actually, no, there is a problem. The microphone. The glass started cracking ever so slightly around the microphone, which you might not be able to see, and that's fine. But it still works, and the camera's fine. This is the greatest phone. Every Google phone I've ever had has been the most reliable, robust handheld electronic I've ever owned.
That was strange.
You may have seen me out Tuesday. Uh-oh. Where was I Tuesday?
Oh.
Dun dun
Billie
dun!
Jean.
I've been spotted.
You should have outed him and been like, I know you. You're that guy from that thing.
Mr.
That does
Nerdtastic
those
has been running the A
things.
versions of Pixels for years. Good phones. Yeah, man, I almost got a Pixel 5A instead of getting the standard 5. I kind of like to try an A next time, but I've just had such good reliability with the standards. I don't know. I guess I'm going to just flip through the game really quick, and then I think we're going to sit down and just hang out for a little bit. I was not at Transmission on Tuesday, but I did see you were streaming, and I did want to come and say hello, but I did not come. But next time you stream at Transmission, I'm absolutely going to come, and I'd love to play a little bit of pinball poorly on your stream. So I was thinking about going to Transmission today for dinner, actually. Aw. I wanted to get some banh mi fries made with jackfruit.
So good.
You'll be Tuesday? Why Tuesday? Oh, Rock Band is next Tuesday. Okay, I'm coming. Okay, Transmission Arcade, next Tuesday. Aaron and I are going to get smashed and play Rock Band. Aaron and I are quite good at Rock Band. Okay.
That
One
sounds
ball is
awesome.
missing. Ah, the ball is missing here on the pop bumper. That could be a leveling issue. Why the ball is getting slightly stuck on the pop bumper there, but we will keep an eye on that. It did get stuck there twice now.
Well, this is definitely a good test.
Probably. I've got the muscle memory.
Better, even
It's kind of
better.
funny, like, I've met, like, people, some of the most talented musicians, like, cannot play that game. And I am not necessarily an extremely talented musician, but I can rock that game on expert like no one else. Well, actually, probably a lot of people are way better than me, but I feel like I'm okay. I have good hand-eye coordination, but I'm not good at pinball. Okay, that was a much better I want to try to rail that ramp.
Rail it.
You gotta hit it.
I do.
Yeah.
Okay, it's still airballing.
Transmission does have amazing food.
Transmission may have some of the best food in the entire city of Columbia, South Carolina. Now that the wig is gone, I think that Transmission definitely has the best bar food.
Okay.
I mean, I guess like definitely downtown. We're getting some really nasty air balls. Yeah, it is nailing that ball gape. I really want to.
You should let Erin flip it because she's actually good at pinball.
No. I can't, but I don't want to embarrass myself.
I'm also
One
confused
day.
because I thought that you needed to hit the drop targets to light lock, but lock has been lit right off the get-go the entire time. But I'm also trying to see where I'm hitting the ramp.
The QA
So
team on Rock Band became proficient drummers, but not guitarists. DJ Hero is even harder as the vinyl turns the wrong way. Counterclock. It does, doesn't it?
Interesting.
Why is that?
I never played DJ Hero.
We have. You'll have to come to my arcade. We don't have. It's not DJ Hero. It's the. It's Beat Mania.
Oh, okay.
Is that what it's called? It's DJ Hero, but
Off-brand.
by the different company. No, DJ Hero's the off-brand.
Oh, DJ Hero.
I'm just kidding. I don't.
Kirkland brand.
Yeah, Beat Mania was by who made Beat Mania? Konami. Who made DJ Hero? DJ
see-
Hero was only they didn't make an arcade for it.
I'm wondering if it's actually jumping because the rights.
Interesting.
I know. I'm afraid to say that it is. I'm afraid to say that it is goofy because the ramp is thicker, but I think it is really. I don't know though. Maybe I'm.
Mr. Nerbtastic said maybe it's airballing because the metal ramp flat almost has an arch in the middle.
I just
Seems
checked that,
like when
and
you hit it from the side, it's clean, but down the middle, it jumps.
It seems like it's jumping when I hit it more to the right. I feel like I noticed when I hit it from the center, it wasn't
Yeah, what
jumping
is
so
that?
bad. It doesn't have an arch. I just double checked that, so we'll pop it back
Oh,
on.
that's funny. Digerati posted the very first episode of PinTech Live.
Oh God, don't watch that.
I want to watch it.
Actually, if you click on that, you're banned immediately.
Actually, Kyle, next week we should totally go down memory lane and just click through all the different PinTech Live episodes.
I mean, that would be kind of funny. But I think
Yeah, we'll play that song the whole time.
we have some more work to do on this lovely Elvira that might belong
You're not
to you.
done?
Well, no, I mean, yes, it is done. We need to remote the batteries. I'm gonna do a little coin door cleanup, and we're going to mount a few more other parts, and we'll do that while we're having a conversation. That sounds pretty
Awesome.
good. But I'm gonna say, everyone that's here right now, the episode of PinTech on the 29th is the one you need to watch. We're gonna be with Jack.
Yay.
That one's going to be exciting, and there's some big news to be had talking about the Foo Fighters. So please do not miss that one. That one's gonna be great. I mean, Jack's
I
hilarious
know, I can't
too, so-
wait to have Jack. And then we're gonna make Kyle and Jack battle. Oh, I should make my graphic be like the head-to-head, and it'd be Jack Danger versus Kyle Caution.
No.
And it's gonna
No,
be like
you know-
the MMA, like or UFC style graphic.
He thinks that one's hilarious, but you know which one he really hates is when Sarah Rose calls me Kirkland Jack Danger. He finds that one. He says that that's just like demeaning, and I'm like, I don't care. It's funny. It makes me laugh.
Kirkland's a great brand, though. I
I
think
know.
Have you had
it's
their vodka?
I own one share of Costco stock.
Wow.
It took me a lot of money to own it, but I
yeah.
have
So
one.
that's like a compliment.
I'm gonna check these pop bumpers really quick, but I'm actually
Every
quite
time
satisfied
you buy a Kirkland
with
Kyle,
the way the game's playing.
Kyle's
So.
stock goes up. Rock and sock and boas.
Yeah, this rules. I'm actually extremely excited.
Yeah, maybe. I might have to do that.
Emoto, if you actually want this game, like this would actually be this is a decent game to have on location. I don't know how much the dude's going to want for it, but if it's going to you, I will talk to him and adjust the bill for repair. Maybe I will give you an extremely cheap repair rate, and he can charge you for the game or something. I'll call the dude on the way out, and I'll see what kind of deal I might
we'll figure it out. Yeah, definitely don't do hourly, because I know how many hours he spent on that.
No. It wouldn't be hourly.
20 PinTech live episodes.
Yeah, well, most of that was just talking.
That's like $30,000.
And if Emoto is gonna buy this game, I'm just going to remote the batteries.
I'll go through all the episodes, and I'll just like count how many minutes you actually work on the game per each episode, and then I'll add all those together.
No.
It does great on location. Awesome. What's the most common thing that breaks on this when this game is on location?
Nothing. The only thing that we would need to figure out is actually getting a surround for this. You know what I might do?
Oh.
I might ask Jody if he can source the surround for this thing, or if he has the ability to make one or figure something out. But yeah, this game is nice otherwise, right? Like, I mean, I want to buy this. I would totally buy this game. If I did need it.
What if you say that it's done with repair, but it needs to go into QA testing, so we're going to take it down to an arcade, test it out for...
Never bring it back.
Yeah.
I will call the nice.
And
I will
then
call the
you
nice guy that
change your
owns it
phone
and see what he
number.
says.
That's terrible.
Just kidding. Ellie asked, do you service in the area, Kyle?
I do, but not really, just because I don't have enough time.
He's
and I'm
busy.
like slowly removing all of my customers just because I don't have time. But if you needed some help, I could.
That's pretty good.
I could try to help
Done.
you out for sure, because you have.
Denisha said, my
nice
local
game.
repair guy says the only thing that breaks on a battery on location is the machine next to it.
That is pretty true. The old Bally's are literally bulletproof. That's why my
Ball gets
favorite
stuck at
games are
pop
all
bumper,
of
that's the
my
most common.
old Bally's.
Oh, okay.
That's what happened 2 times with us today.
Yeah.
What happened to us today?
The ball getting stuck. Pop up.
Yeah. I think that could be due to the fact that I don't have the game pitched very well, and also you don't want to take into account like weird things happening with the ramp until we get it leveled and like properly pitched. This game doesn't have a ton of pitch to it. Once we get it pitched correctly, some of those things could go away, but that is a pretty severe hop. We will mess with it next week for certain. But yeah, I mean, like, but isn't that crazy? Like, for y'all that actually tune in every week and have seen like almost every step of this game, it went from being a pile of crap to going back together to like basically just working, right? I mean, we did very little mechanically on this game. We ungoofed the drop targets. We lubricated things. We rebuilt the flippers. We replaced one coil bracket for the pop bump or the slingshot. We adjusted a pop bumper switch, and everything just worked. So these games do come back to life relatively quickly when you get lucky like that sometimes. But we knew that, right? When we looked at this game, it was just dirty and nasty, but it didn't look like absolutely abused or destroyed. So, yeah, batteries. This game's going to get batteries, especially if Emoto's buying it. All it needs is batteries because she'll know to change them. I will make sure I come prepared with the correct.
No, I want NVRAM in it, or the deal's off. Just kidding.
That's a lot of work, man. Okay, fine. We'll make it happen.
No, I'll just put the wood batteries in.
No, I cut the battery holder out because it was rusty. So I'll put a battery holder. It's okay. I'll do it right. It's fine. The I don't know. The only other thing about this game is it's just, yeah, you just gotta clean it a little bit, and that's fine. But I will call the owner.
Yeah, it's pretty great. Yeah, let me know.
Okay.
It's a great game. I would love that. And then one day, get the other two.
Yeah. Well, the nice thing about this one too is it's like, and I'll explain to the dude, it's like it's in good enough condition, right? It's not. This is not something like this is not like a collector's quality game, but it's good enough. And it's yeah, it'll be good, especially for an arcade. You know, but yeah, cool. Good job, everybody. We kind of did it. So now we get to reward ourselves with a beverage. A beverage. I'm gonna go retrieve one, and let's chit chat a little bit, everybody.
It's awesome.
Beverage time.
Good
beverage
job.
o'clock. We're gonna eat a beverage. That's right. I did say eat a beverage.
Interessante.
This one, please.
Aaron, can you try to refocus this main camera? I don't know why it's.
I don't maybe the
Oh, so we had a thing. I finally emailed. I got an email last week, I think, during the stream from info at blackcatpinball.se, and someone just typed it into my blackcatpinball at gmail.com, and it was my friends in Sweden. He told me, sorry for stealing my identity, but I like the name of my arcade or something like that. But remember, he came to this, actually, no, it was actually one of my favorite episodes of this show I ever did was the one when Josh was at my house and we took my Deadpool back from transmission. And we were going over like what a game with like 25,000 games on it or whatever looked like, right? And that guy actually was in the stream. Black Cat Pinball joined the stream, and I was like, "Oh my god!" But we are friends. We are not enemies, and I am excited to go to. Well, I'm very excited to go to Europe again. We might go next year, but I'm excited to visit.
I know. How did that happen?
Where is it?
That's so weird. It was literally 4:22 5 minutes ago. This has been my issue all year. Like, time is just like doesn't exist in proper format. Yeah.
No, it doesn't. In Falkenberg, Sweden. Where's Falkenberg? That's in the south of Sweden, right? I remember looking this up once.
sounds badass.
Yeah, our Mendonca definitely. Envy Ram's always the way to go. Why do I say?
Falkenberg, Sweden.
Oh, I see what's happening here. Wait, no. What is
Oh
that?
my goodness. Oh, that's perfect. Falkenberg is maybe 40, 50 kilometers south of Gothenburg, and I have friends in Gothenburg. And then Falkenberg, Sweden is very close to Copenhagen.
Oh,
Oh.
What is this auto next to me? Oh, is it just? It's just reading the camera settings. Weird. Oh, there you go. I
Well,
was like,
delicious. I'd like
trying to
to,
click on it, thinking it was like a text layer.
if I end up coming to Sweden or Denmark, I would love to make contact with you, maybe visit your plastics company. Yeah, I'd like to go up
The
there.
plastics company.
Yeah. Well, it's a fine. He does fine plastics.
I know, the best plastic out there.
Yeah, I haven't been to Copenhagen, but I've been to Stockholm before. I've been to Gothenburg before, but I've never been.
do you have the syndrome?
I do have Stockholm syndrome. No, I just ate some fantastic food and met a bunch of really wonderful people. I'd like to go to Oslo too. I might as well knock all the Nordic countries out because
Oh
I want to
yeah,
go to
you
Tilt.
have to go to Oslo.
I want to go to Tilt in Oslo. I've never been there.
Yeah, it seems like a really cool community of pinball people up there.
Yeah, cool arcade. I guess. You know what? Actually, that's funny. Denmark is the only Nordic country I've never been to. I think real Nordic people don't consider Estonia to be, well, Finland's not a Nordic country. Kind of. They're kind of there on, by friendship. Estonia might be kind of Nordic, but not really. But I've been to Estonia. I've been to all the Baltics, but I have to go to Denmark. part of my family, like the German side or my mom's side of the family, they were from the part where the Germans and the Danes fought over for a long time. Schleswig-Holstein, where they build all the ships and stuff like that. It used to be part of Denmark, but it's been part of Germany for a long time now. But yeah, I have to go meet those Danish people, you know. I'll just tell them my family heritage is not from that contentious part of the country, and you know, it's fine.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Don't let them know.
But yeah, that'll be fun. I'll have to go. So we were thinking we were either going to go to Prague or go to Budapest and like do a Danube tour again, or maybe go up north, and maybe north would be more fun this time.
I'm Hungarian.
Yeah, there you go. My friend is my best
Oh, that's
friend is
neat.
actually a knight in Hungary.
Really?
Yes, he actually has a family estate, and he is on the list of knights. It was given like his grandfather
a
was
knight,
like
Aaron.
exiled because he
royal.
participated in the Hungarian Revolution. So like after Hungary stopped being super communist, like they gave his grandfather a knightly thing. I don't know, some state award. So he is the oldest male in that lineage. So he now holds that title.
Wow.
Super cool. Yeah, it's a wild story. Dude like participated in the Hungarian Revolution, got sent to Gulag in Russia for like 20-something years. He was married. He eventually reconnected with his wife, who he found out now lived in America, who had remarried to an American man. Her husband died, and then they got remarried when they were like 70-something years or 80-something years old. I know, it's an insane
Yeah.
story. It's so
my
sad.
Family, they moved over here before World War II,
Hmm.
so I don't really know if I have any family there still.
Maybe. You never know.
Probably do.
You never know.
If you go to Prague, then stick to Prague. If you go outside the city, bad stuff will happen.
Yeah, you never know. I like Czech Republic. I've been to Czech Republic a few times. It's a neat place. The beer is fantastic. The beer costs $0. The food is fantastic,
Yeah,
and
that's how they steal your organs.
you just got to get along with the locals. But yeah. Anyways, Emoto, how's the
scary.
arcade going? Let's catch up with Emoto.
I really want a nap.
Well, your obligations here are done in 13
Arcade
minutes.
is
so-
good. Right now they're building the golf simulators. So
Super
maybe
cool.
tonight we'll see how that works.
So there's
Building the first bay.
3 golf simulators or 4?
There are 4.
Okay, cool.
So they're just building one right now. We moved a lot of the arcade games in and, getting them back up and running, because when you move arcade games from one location to another, they always break somehow. I don't
Check
know if
all the
you've had
connections on
much
the monitor.
experience with this. Yeah. We're swapping out a lot of the monitors from the CRT to LCD screen because
don't do that.
we are not purists. Hashtag sorry, not sorry. We just
Oh.
want to play the games.
Yeah, but if they work,
It's not that type of an arcade. And if
Yeah,
you
you're
want
right.
that
You're right.
pure classic OG original arcade, I can give you a list of many fabulous ones to go
You're
check
right.
out.
You're right.
Our place will not be that. We're in Disneyland. But I haven't moved. We only have 2 pinball machines in here right now just to get them out of the way for spacing. But
Yeah.
we got to bring more and do some building and some painting.
Is it all of the video games or are they all?
My
of
brother's
the,
looking at me like I'm crazy.
Are they all the
Yes,
Japanese
yes.
video games over there right now,
Is it
or is
work?
it like
You
everything?
can- oh, you saw his upside down head. What did you say, Kyle?
Is it all of the Japanese video games, or is it like all of the video games you have? Like, which ones are over there? Anything super cool?
None of the some of the Japanese ones are here. They'll come next week, because they're up in Atlanta still. But it's a bunch of random classics from every era.
Oh yeah.
That's so cool.
And then I guess Sunday I'm traveling to Savannah, which is why I was asking if you were going to be there. And I'm going to go hang out with Graveface for a second and pick up some units from them that
Yeah.
I really wanted on my wish list.
That's awesome. Yeah, you'll see Ben. Ben's a really nice guy. He joins our stream often. I know Ryan's
Yeah,
in
Ben,
Chicago right now, but
Then I have a Jew beat. Yeah, I think we have a Jew beat. I'm pretty sure we have a Jew beat, maybe. Do we have a Jew beat? Oh, he shook his fist in anger. We're looking for a Jew beat. If y'all have a lead on a Jew beat, let me know. Jew beat.
It's like a square.
Yeah. I've had so many people ask me about Jew beat. Everyone loves that game, I guess.
I don't know what that game is. What's Jubeat?
It's like that little, it's like a black cabinet and it looks like this square or like this cube with 9 button lights on it. And when the buttons light up, you have to hit them.
Yeah. I've played that at Extreme before.
Pronounced U-beat? U-beat. Is it really?
Crazy looking.
It's a neat game.
Is it
We'll ask ChatGPT then.
matching the color?
Why don't you ask someone who's
Yeah.
Japanese?
I know. Ask our mom. She's right over there. She's gonna be like, I don't know. Are there any videos or vlogs of the arcades being set up? So I have a Facebook page, Captain Crazy's Paradise, that I started posting stuff or post stuff on my Emoto Arcade page from time to time. I'll be posting more updates soon. For sure.
Sweet.
We kind of had to stop for a second for reasons, but the show must go on. We got this crazy game, so it's called Girl. I'm gonna look at the picture. I was gonna do a stream of it because it's so ridiculous. Let me know if y'all have ever heard of this game called. Man, where is it? Not Girl Panic. Girl something.
Girl Panic. That sounds Japanese.
It's not. It's not. It's
Gal
I just have photos of
Gal Panic?
Galpad. Gal's Pad.
No, Gal
that it?
Panic. Spunky
Hold on.
Spunky knows what it is.
I sent it. Yeah, wow, it was Gal's Panic. And wow, Spunky did know. How did he? Nice, Spunky. It has a curtain in front of it, like a black curtain. It's a regular standard cabinet, arcade cabinet, and it has a curtain rod and a little black curtain over it. And I was like, to my dad, I was like, why does that game have a curtain on it? And he's like, it has boobies on it. And then if you go inside, make sure you close the curtain. It's this game, and the game is pretty fun, and I want to play through it and beat it just for the sake of doing it. But you have this like silhouette of a naked chick or whatever, right? It's terrible. But you have 2 little dots, and you have to connect the dots like this, and everywhere you draw to connect the dots like a cut tool in Photoshop, then it reveals that part of the image. But there's like spiders and rockets and missile things like trying to hit you, and if it hits your dot, then you have to start over. So you can't really outline and trace over the whole thing because there's so many obstacles of things trying to attack you.
That's
so you just have to do
ridiculous.
little by little, and when you reveal the entire image, then you win that level, and it's like a pinup girl or something.
You know what? I
It's
think
just-
actually, I think I played that at Galloping Ghost last time I was there with Eska. I definitely did because I thought it was ridiculous and hilarious. So,
Python D'Angelo's favorite game.
Python Angelo sure did love
Python
nudity and coin
Angelo.
op. So, man.
This channel is proof I don't need a bigger work table. Yeah, it kind of makes it work.
This table's ridiculously small, but it also means I can only pile so much BS on it. So,
But so we have the initial D game, which my brother has hacked and
Sweet.
has it so you can get player cards and save your data.
Which stage is it
So-
again?
Infinity 8.
I don't know if I've played that one that much, but that one's cool. I'll still beat you in
It's a pretty
the
no.
Suzuki Cappuccino.
No, dude, I'll ride my Prius and I'll still smoke you
I don't know.
one-handed.
Can't beat the cappuccino, man. Can't beat the cappuccino.
My
I can't-
brother's really good
I
at it.
cannot wait to come and play that. I love Initial D. It's so fun.
We have Dance Dance Revolution that is also modified, so every single mix is on it.
Wow.
So
Cool.
it's a lot of games.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah, there's so many games. Gauntlet Legends, because that game's awesome.
Yes.
Gotta have the dungeon fighters.
What about
But there's still a bunch of games we're looking for. If anyone's selling any fighting games or Ubeat,
Street Fighter?
let me know. Yeah, we need a Street Fighter.
Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, all of them. I have Soul Calibur 2 that I need to put in a cabinet, but we want Marvel vs. Capcom,
Oh yeah.
Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, Tekken. Need them all.
Those are all good games. And
Oh, hello,
What's up,
MFP
Callie?
Calais.
what's up, dude?
You know, he had you on mute earlier because he hates the sound of your voice.
I hate the sound of my voice.
I'm
I've
just
never spent more than like 20 seconds watching any
I'm just
episode of this
kidding.
show I've ever done. Ever. I can't stand
You
it.
have a Killer Instinct? Nice. We tried to buy Killer Instinct and a Primal Rage, and the collector was like, those are never leaving my collection. And I don't blame them. I don't blame them.
What is
Oh, but
what are you doing? What day are you going to Savannah?
Sunday.
I'll give you some good restaurant recommendations at least.
Yeah, I doubt we'll stop for that long. I'm going with my dad, and he's a very much like get her done type of guy.
No,
so
you
I
gotta
imagined we're going to drive 8 hours, grab the games, and drive back immediately.
Nah, you gotta stop. I think it's called the. You gotta
How
stop
he
at this
rolls.
place for. It's called the Cuban Window. It's a Cuban restaurant in a gas station, and it's like super Miami Vice themed inside, and it is incredibly good. And it's like
Spunky,
grab
that's
and
not a
go,
fair
so
trade. Oh yeah,
you gotta
yeah.
try
Send
that.
it to me.
It's super cheap.
Is Killer Instinct a hard find? I don't know.
Why do people like that game?
Maybe nostalgia. Same with like Primal Rage. Like,
Okay.
you know, it's like it's like Pit Fighter. It's not really the best fighting game, but it
But
just
it's fun.
was in that era where you wanted to play it a lot.
Yeah, Denicius brings up a good point. Why? I mean, do you have a Neo Geo?
Yeah, we have a Neo Geo, and we will plan on having lots of cabs that
one do you have?
will run everything.
Do you have
And
a four
it's a free play format too, so we're not worried about coin drop and all that good stuff. It's a museum.
Josh has a lot of Neo Geo games. So if you need more, he probably has some that he will give or trade or something. So
Oh, nice. Oh, Killer Instinct for music. Yeah.
yeah, combo fighting.
Because
okay,
it
that's interesting.
revolutionized combo fighting. True.
I don't like fighting games because I'm not good at them, and I don't
I
want
love
to be. Good at
I'm
them.
not good at 2D fighters. 3D fighters are a little bit better for me.
Yeah, you're really good at
Which
one? What Soul Calibur? Yeah, Emoto's like a Soul Calibur master.
Until I play a real Soul Calibur master, and then they smoke me.
Well, yeah.
Because my moves are predictable.
There's a difference between like a try-hard nerd and someone who's just like good at the game like you. So
Right? Duke Nukem? Yeah.
What the hell? Duke Nukem. I haven't thought about that series in a long time.
Paperboy.
Atari
Did
XL
Paperboy have
football?
an actual arcade game, or was it just
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, Paperboy was a
Yeah.
coin-op game first, and it's got a super
They
cool
had-
controller. Atari always had the coolest controllers for their games
I
and the
played it on
coin-op
the
stuff.
original Game Boy.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, on the
They-
arcade, it's cool as hell.
Come get some. The best callouts ever. Yeah, there was a Paperboy at my parents' basement in Atlanta, Georgia. It's also a really cool pinball spot if you all ever come down that way to Atlanta.
Yeah, I
They
still
might
have to
still
go
have the
over there.
Paperboy there. It's really cool.
Yeah, no, Danishus is totally right. My Neo Geo 2 slot
Neo
would be a
Turf
Turf
Masters
Masters
and
and Puzzle
Puzzle
Bobble
Bobble.
for sure.
Puzzle Bobble.
Absolutely.
Puzzle Bobble.
I think that was just the American.
Yeah,
game.
Ellie, my parents' basement. It's in Avondale, Georgia. They do tournaments there, league nights. I think that's the home of the Bells and Chimes of Atlanta.
Yeah, I think my
And they
wife
have
and I are
comic
going to
books.
go do
It's
an
like a
Atlanta
comic
trip.
book restaurant arcade. It's nuts.
Yeah, it's got everything. Eska and I are going to go to our Atlanta, and we want to go to the Museum of Puppetry Arts. I want to go do that, and then I want to go. I think we'll do like a 2-day thing. We'll go to the Museum of Puppetry Arts, and then do my parents' basement and Portal.
Portal, yeah. Those are on the opposite sides of Atlanta.
Unfortunately, it's the reality, but yeah, you know.
Portal's definitely worth it. It's the best location we have in Metro Atlanta. I mean, all the games are in tip-top shape because Brian is amazing, and it's all free play, 40 plus pins. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
they've got a good bar,
the best.
good beer and cider.
Yep, yeah, and they have a bar now. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Portal
lot of
Pinball Arcade.
Portal Pinball. That
LJ.
is the one you need to go to. I mean, you need to go check them out, all out. But if you're gonna spend a whole lot of time somewhere, like what's better than a free play pinball spot with a bar?
Yep.
Spend all day there.
That's true.
All day
All day.
and only half the money.
Just yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah,
House
exactly.
of Dead arcade does good for you too. That's cool. We have House of Dead 2 and House of Dead 4.
Oh really?
We have lots of shooting games.
Yeah, light gun games
Yeah.
are fun. They're-
Paradise Lost, which was that global VR game. Some other game that reminds me of Time Crisis.
Yeah, do you have
Any
Flying
Anyway.
High Japan?
Flight Simulator? Is that what you said?
Yeah, do you have Flying
Yeah,
High Japan?
actually,
What is that
that's why I'm going to Savannah to pick up Striker Extreme. I think that's what it's called. Or Strike Fighter. Sorry, Strike Fighter. I'm mixing it up with the pinball game.
Yeah, you
It's
are.
not the soccer
No,
game.
you need to get
Sega Strike Fighter is a flight simulator, like jet pilot.
the
battle
best game
jet.
of all
game.
time. The best game of all time that's ever been made. The best video game, coin-op video game ever. Landing High Japan. Do you remember when I was like totally smashed
yeah.
and playing that in Houston for like a long
Yeah.
time? It's a game where
thought
all
you were
you
gonna
have
say
to do
the
is
train
take
game.
off and land an airliner. And it's like super Japanese. So like if you do anything goofy, there's like a bunch of pictures of people like getting really upset, like, you know, while you're landing and like, people are like, oh! It's hilarious.
When you crash it.
You can't crash, unfortunately. Well, fortunately, but it's hilarious. It's the most Japanese thing ever, and I want one really bad. I love.
Oh, dang. When Tally went to Portland, they hit ground control on a free play Wednesday.
Hell yeah. Man,
That
ground control's fun.
Place is so amazing.
Yeah, that's a neat spot.
Carnival is a great game. Do we have a Carnival? Maybe.
You can get them for basically free. They made too many of them, and no one wants them, and the hard drives are all failing. So you can get them for super cheap.
I wanted to get the police trainer game,
Yeah, police
but I've yet
trainers
to
hella
find
funny.
it.
I've
It's
converted many
good.
police trainers into games that are not police trainers. I converted. My favorite conversion I did was like a police trainer into Tetris. That was like the ultimate.
Wow.
It's like,
That's quite the conversion.
yeah, well, Tetris is a good game, and Police Trainer isn't. So it was a perfect combination. I like Police Trainer.
They're both different.
I know.
And both good.
Well, I think it only had one gun, so we decided to just make it something else. Am I going out of focus? Oh, wow, look, it's 5 o'clock. We've been streaming for like 3 hours.
Oh, yeah. I'll look to see who we should raid. Pay per day, all day, in and out. $25 a day is probably what we're going to start at. And hopefully we'll be open this summer. Otherwise, I'm going to bleed dry.
That's so dramatic.
Yeah, and Moto's
I have no
feeling like it's time. We must do this.
idea. We better. Oh, NBA Fast Break going on from Mystery Pinball Theater. Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah, well, we haven't been able to raid Manu in like months, so
Yeah, it's a good one.
we probably got to go give Manu some love. We raided Borg Dog last week.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Nice.
That was some good
That's
stuff. You
awesome.
playing William
Way to go.
Starlight. Yep.
Thank you so much, Spunky, for being a subscriber and for hanging out with us.
Yeah, mate. Thank you.
And all your tips. And your Duke Nukem callouts.
We'll be here next week.
Oh, whoops.
Next week, what are we going to do?
Yep.
We're going to probably still work on this and just have a good time. We'll do a chill episode next week, but
I'll get on and you can play.
absolutely. Mark your calendars, June 29th. That's going to be the
Oh,
most
yep.
exciting episode
Yes.
because Jack Danger will be here. And who doesn't like that big weirdo?
I'm so excited, finally. It's been a long time coming.
Yeah.
Oh, right. We are going to not edit our stream, but we are going to raid.
Yeah, Goop. I might do some of that stuff next week, too. I've got some work I actually need to do in the building that all this stuff goes on at, so I'll get bored and sit there and peel tape, and we'll get this thing going. And, yeah. It's gonna be
No,
great.
he's going to be streaming via Stern Factory. Jack Danger will not be coming to South Carolina. Maybe one day.
Maybe one day.
But yeah,
but-
we do everything over the internet.
Yeah.
Clean up the receiver bar. Yeah.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, it'll be cleaned up nicer than it is now. Well, I guess if Emoto's buying it, actually, I'm not going to do any of that. But
I know. I was just thinking about that too. I was like, man, maybe I shouldn't have said anything because now Kyle's going to like cut corners.
no corners are cut at all.
I won't let him.
No, we won't
I'm
do
not
it.
buying it until I see it.
Aaron will
100%.
throw things at me until I comply.
And I want it at least 30% cheaper than pin side listed prices.
Um,
Whoa.
well, we'll see what we can do.
What are you,
The,
his manager?
Yeah, we'll talk about it later.
We'll talk about that later. No, just kidding.
I'll
Actually,
give you
I
whatever
wonder-
he's giving.
We might be able to.
All
We
right,
might
y'all.
be getting Jack
We
Danger
are
from his
going
house.
to raid Mystery Pinball Theater
Yeah.
3000.
Go say hi to Manu. He's
And
cool.
we'll see you there. NBA Fast Breaks, George Gomez game.
Yeah,
It's amazing.
the best
And
George Gomez game.
we'll see y'all next week.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks so
Thank
much.
you.
Oh, hello, Caledonia. Thanks
New
for joining
Caledonia.
us.
Dang. Thank you
And
for
goodbye.
joining us. But we're about to go raid someone. Bye.
I know. Wait, is it raid? Are we raiding? Are we
Yeah.
raiding?